smoke long and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
It's sad that we live in an unsafe world, but we do. Would you be able to show the police who was at your home if something was taken? Guardtronic installs alarm systems as well as camera systems. We here at ESPN rely on our Guardtronic installed cameras to keep an eye on what's going on around our building, as many of you do. Guardtronic has been serving the River Valley for over 60 years. Call Guardtronic for a free estimate so you'll be able to show the police who the bad boys are that took your belongings. License E50.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They are open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, cloudy skies. There is a chance of a little light rain or freezing drizzle. Our high temperatures will be right around the mid to upper 30s. Later on tonight, a chance of some freezing rain and snow to the north. Could see rain and freezing rain to the south. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid to upper 20s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris, Fort Smith. You're listening to ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Lights Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
What name of one Razorback? It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Pleasant good morning from where? 13th floor, Doubletree Hotel, somewhere in Dallas by the campus of SMU. The SEC ACC Challenge will wrap up tonight on the women's side of things. It wrapped up yesterday on the men's side of things. Way to go, SEC. Way to go, Razorbacks. Good morning to everybody listening in. Phil Elson along with Matt Jones. Christian, no, it's not Christian. We know because he's getting married. That's right. It is Ty Richardson in our studios today. And an abbreviated halftime of sorts, I guess depending on what you call the third hour of the show today, because we're going to be carrying the Ryan Silverfield introductory press conference live and in its entirety, and then a chance to react to it later on, either here on halftime or on Ruskin and Zach. Matt Jones, good morning to you. That was a fun basketball game last night.
Oh, my goodness. It's always fun to win.
It is always fun to win, especially when it's against an undefeated team, top 10, in your own building. You kind of, it was great to see Arkansas rebound well, play with energy, used Louisville's defense against them every once in a while. It was, I guess right now, that's the defining win in Cal's second season. Got a chance later on this month for a couple other ones. So, hey, now the women got to take care of it and take down SMU today. Overall, just really was an exciting basketball game, but you don't want to walk out of there saying, no, well, that was a good game, but they lost. Because if I'm thinking of the last time that any of the teams that we cover beat a major opponent, because none of the teams that the men's basketball team has beaten yet you would classify as major. So it's the same with the women's team. Man, Matt, it's been a long time since Arkansas athletics beat a team at the level that the men's team beat Louisville yesterday. You'd have to go to the College World Series the last time something like that happened. So, hey, let's get a few strings of these things going here.
Man, I loved Acuff. You know, he's going to take him as far as he can. And then when Brazil plays like that, it's really it's really fun when Brazil plays like that.
No kidding. You could tell from the start. There was something about Trevin. Got that 3-point shot. Was defending well. Played with a lot of energy. Team rebounded really well overall. What did it tell you? When you look in the box score and you've got individual rebounds, and then you have a list for team rebounds. And Malik Ewan led the team in rebounding. Team rebounding, Matt, was second on the team overall. So I think it says the team blocked out. They hustled after balls, and was just a great performance. Great to see. BE's already texted in. I told you I'm on the 13th floor of this hotel. When the guy handed me the card this morning, it's been on a morning. I was up at 3:30 in the morning, had the 5:40 flight out of LIT to DFW. You get 6 o'clock tip-off tonight, so I had to make sure that if there were any delays or anything, you're going to get here. So that's why I was on the early flight. I come into the hotel, and the guy hands me a key, and he says, you're on the 13th floor. I've been in enough hotels to know that most of the time you get on the elevator, there's a gap between 12 and 14. The 13th floor is essentially number 14 in a lot of hotels. Matt, I don't believe in superstitions, but I'm a little bit nervous staying on the 13th floor tonight.
Just play a Taylor Swift song and you'll be okay. That's her favorite
Which one do you
number.
want me to play?
It doesn't matter. I don't know any Taylor Swift songs, but play one of her favorite numbers, 13. I think it'll rock you to sleep and you'll be okay.
I bet you know one of them. You want to be able to name it, be able to say, you know what, that sounds like a Taylor Swift
probably
song.
so. Probably so.
That's what it would be. Yeah, but no, that actually is a legitimate 13th floor here. So that probably means something's going to happen during the show today. Like the mirror is going to shatter with just looking at it. The TVs are going to, show something that'll get me in trouble. The radio equipment's not going to work. There'll be gremlins in the on our show and all that kind of stuff. Probably the Silverfield press conference won't get carried live. You can blame me for it if you want to. And man, it's already had. Anybody ever get on an airplane and you got somebody sitting behind you who is snoring uncontrollably to the point where you're almost nervous that it's going to take the plane down? It's been a wild morning already. The person behind me, Matt, was snoring like sawing logs. I thought maybe she would wake herself up. No, nothing woke her up. Not even landing the plane. By the time we actually pulled into the gate, she was just what she was doing before she even started. The plane took off. I'm not going to replicate the sound here for you, but you know what it sounds like when somebody's right there next to you snoring. What if she's right there behind you on the airplane? Man, it's been a very weird morning already. So 13th floor seems to make sense with all of this. Anyway, Aaron sends in an interesting text here, Matt. And I felt this a little bit because you could hear the announcers. Once the threes started falling for Louisville, once they get it within once they got it to 11 points, Ravitch is like almost expecting to see the comeback come to its full fruition. And Aaron in Ozark texted in. He said, football's got it in our heads. That he was convinced that Louisville was going to complete that comeback. But no, they didn't. All the times Arkansas football had the lead, even second half leads, couldn't hold on to them. Fourth quarter leads, last drive, all of that. That was so nice to see that they were able to, basically answer the onslaught by Louisville, because 52 points in the second half is a true onslaught, but they were able to blunt it to a point, keep your offense going, and I felt the same way that you did, Aaron. Just because that's kind of what we've seen recently with Arkansas in the chest. Maybe that means basketball will hold on to leads against good teams at home.
That first half, Louisville looked tired. They kind of looked stunned a little bit, and you knew this is the type of team we're going to have to beat to make a Final Four run. No question about it. And honestly, think that Coach Cal rather play a team 4 guards, 5 guards, however they're going, instead of having to worry about the inside. Which, man, that inside dude they had, number 13. That's a real basketball player right there, man. I like his game. He didn't shoot very well, but going forward, man, he's solid.
Well, and I liked at least the athleticism from that Michael Brown, if not necessarily the shot making, but there's a lot of athleticism there. What did you think you saw from Brazil yesterday? Was this somebody just all right? This is the opponent. I'm going to rise to the occasion. What did you see from him?
Well, he's a matchup nightmare. There's every team doesn't have a guy like that. Every team has guards. Look, Louisville has guards. You're going to play a lot of teams that has a lot of guards, and every once in a while a team will have a big guy here and there. But Brazil's such an interesting player because he's not really like a low post big. And he's not a ball handler. But, man, on defense, he makes up for so many mistakes coming by to do help side blocks and closing down, understand where the help's supposed to be and being in the right spot. I was probably more impressed with him on the defensive end just as much as anything else.
Yeah. 4 guards, 1 forward. If this is a different kind, do you still believe that Arkansas could get pushed around once you come into play in like Tennessee again?
Are you worried about Pringle? I think Pringle can hold his own. I think that Malik Ewan, who's getting better each week? That kid right there. You go from game one. Yep, he's getting better
comfortable
each
yesterday.
week.
It kind of looked like he belonged. And man, that was terrific to see. I mean, the guys. It's not like you need something close to a double each game from him, but you at least got to look like you're on the court. And I guess that's kind of the thing from Pringle. But even if it's not Pringle right now, it is. There's been, I guess you could say, disappearing act from one of your bigs, at least one of your bigs, if not all of them or 2 of them, in most games this year. I mean, certainly when it comes to Duke and Michigan State, there have been enough no-shows, and that's the same for Carter Knox. I mean, Knox kind of had at the start of the game, looked like something might get going. As the game continues, I don't know if he's got his legs or not. He doesn't look like the same player right now. But Brazil looks like the same player that finished the season last year, and maybe it takes a little bit more time to get Knox going, because once you get him going, I don't know if I'd say the sky's the limit, but I don't think they're going to be as good as they can be if Knox if whatever's going on with Carter, if it's the toe injury, if it's not quite being in the right shape, just need another couple of weeks, but you got to get him right, Matt.
You got to get him right. Proud of Acuff, those 10 dimes, man. That's what you want to see out of your point guard. When guards are shooting the ball all the time, the offense gets stagnant. The fact that he was passing the ball, looking to create. I mean, that dude can do whatever he wants with the basketball. Acuff is, man, he's a bona fide superstar. Like that dude is a baller. Thomas can score, but the other guy that I really think that's a kind of a glue guy he's just tough. That's Billy Richmond. I mean, you talk about one college offseason, understanding the game a little bit, getting in the weight room. Man, he was fun to watch last night.
Do you know anybody that refers to him as Billy Goat outside of Cal in the press conference? Because Ravitch said it last night.
Is that because he has a little Billy Goat goatee? Is that why?
I don't know. I don't know anybody that's called him that. I've heard him called Billy the Kid more than I've heard him called Billy Goat. But Cal said something about what they call him. Is that why they call him Billy Goat here? And I still don't know anybody that does that. So Ravitch repeats it last night, and I'm thinking, look, it's not like I know everybody that's a fan, but I hadn't heard that one yet, unless it came from Cal. But I love Richmond's energy. Things I love from yesterday, didn't turn it over very much. Louisville's coming at you. You were able to. They basically beat that press the moment they came across half court. It was beautiful to see. I mean, you only commit 10 turnovers against a team that was looking to get you, trapped at half court, and it just didn't work out for them. I love that they got to the foul line, made their free throws, plus 10 in rebounds, and against a team that shoots so many threes, it's all about team rebounding with all these long boards, and man, it was. It made me think. You know what? They beat a legitimately good team. It's not to say anything negative about like Winthrop or Samford or any of the other teams that you've seen that you might not have had your best performance against. But here's a team that was running other opponents off the court, and for a while it was Louisville that was getting run off the court. So great to see it Bud Walton Arena yesterday. Nice introduction of Coach Silverfield, who just had a few things to say before delivering food to the student section, and I'm sure there'll be a lot for him to say today because there's the press conference. There's, well, it's not a meet and greet, but it's a kind of a welcome celebration as well at the Walker Center. So big day today. Plus, big day on halftime, which, again, we're going to carry the entire Coach Silverfield press conference. All the statements coming from if Hunter Yurachek is speaking, and then Silverfield, and then the question and answers and all of that. We'll take it right down to the very end. Brett Dolan joins us about an hour from now, and we'll also talk with Dudley Dawson at the bottom of this hour. Of course, you're well aware, if you've been listening today, that legendary sports writer Nate Allen, Hall of Famer, passed away yesterday at the age of 75. I think it happened right in the middle of the afternoon, kind of when we were on with Clay. And Dudley wrote a book with Nate about the '94 national championship team. I mean, just about every one of the veteran sports writers and sportscasters has great Nate Allen stories, and we'll talk with Dudley about his friendship with Nate and Nate's stature across the sports media landscape. Plus, your calls and texts. Lewis Automotive Hotline is open for the next segment, 877-377-6963. Stay with us. Halftime is back right after this break.
Text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Lewis Automotive Group, home of the Lewis Guarantee.
Building Warriors.
Right side, knocks his open three-pointer goal. And throws it down. That was the dunk of the year.
Competing for each other.
3 to shoot. Inside, and he lays it in.
Upholding the Hog standard.
Arkansas wins.
Listen to the Hogs on the hardwood all season long.
Right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Christmas shopping is easy at Jelco Outdoors. For the hunter, fisherman, and working men on your shopping list, Jelco has the largest selection of work and hunting clothing, work, western, and hunting footwear, handguns, rifles and shotguns, compound bows and crossbows, hunting and fishing equipment for all seasons. When in doubt, a Jelco gift card is always a perfect fit. Free gift with any gift card purchase over $50 this Christmas. Shop local. Shop Jelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your holiday with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. For your inner child and your grown-up cravings, the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon raisin biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Less than 2 seconds left on the clock and no timeouts, Peter. I don't know what they're going to do. Down 3 and way out of field goal range.
Truly an unlucky state to be in. This state has plenty of luck. Last year, 8 Arkansans each won $1 million off a lottery ticket.
State as in a state of being, but...
Whoa, touchdown Razorbacks. This is winning, folks. Every lottery ticket you buy in Arkansas helps fund college scholarships. You could be the next big winner. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Since 1992, the Inn at the Mill has welcomed guests to experience the most unique place to stay when visiting Northwest Arkansas. Centrally located at the Johnson exit off I-49, the Inn at the Mill has established a rich tradition of comfort, convenience, and value. Whether it's the big game, business travel, a trip to Crystal Bridges, or a weekend getaway that brings you to Northwest Arkansas, the Inn at the Mill has a spacious room with ample space to spread out. And when I'm there on business, I appreciate the fast, free internet to keep me connected to work and the laid-back European-style breakfast to start the day. Experience unique and different at the Inn at the Mill, just off I-49 at the Johnson exit. Call 479-443-1800 to make your reservation. That's 479-443-1800 or visit innatthemill.com. The Inn at the Mill, where the past meets the present.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
This Christmas, make it easy for everyone to shop for you. At Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith, we've got everything riders love. Motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, accessories, and apparel from all your favorite brands. Come in and let us make your Christmas wish list. We'll save all your info right here. Then your spouse, friends, or family can stop by, check your list, and pick up the perfect gift. Make it easy, make it awesome, make it Wheeler Power Sports. Located on 901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend, Matt Jones.
Man, we don't have the sound of this, but after the game's over yesterday, it was the student section and probably some of the other fans doing the overrated chant at Louisville. So Cal grabs the microphone and tells them to stop. Don't do the overrated chant. He implores the team, implores the crowd, and I kind of like that.
Him and Louisville have history, so I can see all that. What I noticed last night was that's our 8 we're going with. If you're not in this 8-man rotation that's playing, then you just got to keep practicing and work on it. But those 8 guys right there, how it gets tightened up, that's it. It's going to be hard for any other player to break in without an injury, without something to happen. It's going to be hard for anybody else to get in that 8 because that's a good looking 8 right there.
That's a good thing right now, right? And so
you want to know your role as a player. You want to know your role. You want to know what's expected of you. You want to know when you show up to the gym. You don't want something, and things do happen, because we're creatures of habit. But when you show up to the gym ready to go, you kind of want to know what your role is.
Phil, I found the clip if you want to play it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Travel in the games and sins. Please do me a favor. No overrated stuff. No. Please. Appreciate you, man.
For one thing, it doesn't mean they're overrated if they lose a basketball game on the road to a highly talented team in Arkansas. And then is that all supposed to mean that it's like does that denigrate your win if you're calling the 5th-ranked team in the country overrated and you just dog walked them off your own court? I don't know. But I think Cal's also been used to, whenever his team has lost a game on the road, it's not necessarily that the overrated chant starts coming. It's because all the students are running on the floor. That's how they would celebrate wins over Kentucky. You'd like to get that place to Arkansas. Your point's also too well made, Matt. I feel like this 8 is basically what you've been at for like the last 4 or 5 games. You maybe thought maybe Seeley might work his way in there.
I like Seeley. that dude's going to be a baller. It's just not this year. It's one of those deals. Next year, man, he'll be in that rotation. Yeah. And he still could win us a game. Injuries happen, things happen. He gets to play a little bit, but yes, man, I like Seeley.
So all right, you've got if you're looking at your 8 here, Acuff is playing the most minutes. He and Thomas are on the court about 30 minutes a game. Do you see them staying? Because here's the thing about even 8-man rotations is that can shrink a little bit to where your guys that you really trust the most are out there 33, 34 minutes. You think, because right now, it's the thing, you got 8 players in this rotation, only one of them's averaging over 30 minutes, and that's Acuff. How long does that last?
Well, he's a youngster. I think he can play all year. He could play 35 minutes. Acuff, Wagner, and Thomas are your ball handlers. So one of those three always has to be on the floor. If you want Billy, I mean Billy can handle the ball. Carter can handle the ball, but they're not necessarily. You don't want them bringing the ball up the floor every time, but you can transition with them. But yeah, one of those three, and a lot of times two of those three, as far as Acuff, Wagner, and Thomas, have to be on the floor.
Mm-hmm. And well, you still seeing, you're seeing Malik Ewan as somebody that can probably maybe get a few extra minutes, because that's somebody that's on the court every once in a while. Every couple of games, he's like out there for 6 or 7 minutes, and that's it.
I think he's gotten better as it's going. His natural progression this year, and you got to think everybody kind of we mature at a different rate. He's at a different team, different conference. Comes to Arkansas. You're getting adjusted to everything. It's not going to just be – it's not easy or everybody would be doing it, but I like that he's been grinding, and that's a perfect game for him when they're going to do 4 guards and 1 big. I don't know that there's any team in the country that if they're going to play 4 guards and 1 bigs that I don't like the Arkansas Razorbacks. I'm scared when a team's like Duke or Michigan, when they have 2 or 3 bigs and they're going to be real physical and they're going to control the paint. That's our kryptonite. Playing guards, Coach Cal, that's what he does, man.
And I love seeing Acuff's line. The scoring 17, the 10 assists to have a freshman dealing out 10 assists
I love it.
In a high-level game like that. It's pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. All right, who's next? You get Fresno State and North Little Rock on Saturday. Hey, that's always a wild crowd at Simmons Bank Arena. They get there 1 game a year, and I don't know too much about Fresno State, but I also know even in front of those crowds, the games in Central Arkansas are usually pretty tight. In fact, wasn't there a loss to Fordham a few years ago under Muss? They're going to show up ready to go. So, hey, that Simmons Bank Arena crowd sometimes rivals. I mean, it's better than most of the crowds you get at Bud Walton during the non-conference season. I wouldn't necessarily say about yesterday.
How do you like the atmosphere? Was it rowdy enough for you?
It looked awesome.
Yeah, it looked.
I mean, on television, good, huh? It came across well. Fans were standing up at big moments.
Yeah,
it didn't look like anybody was like sitting on their hands. It didn't sound like a corporate crowd. It sounded like a Bud Walton Arena crowd over the television. What did it sound like on the inside last night? People on the inside yesterday. 877-377-6963 is the Lewis Automotive Hotline. It's like, here's the thing: is usually. I wasn't like perusing social media too much yesterday, but in the lead up to all the games, media members really do like to send out photos of half-empty arenas or half-empty stadiums before kickoff or before tip-off. I don't know if you usually see the photos put out there about great crowds 10 minutes before tip-off or 10 minutes before kickoff. It's usually about, hey, what's going on here? You wouldn't have that at all yesterday because the crowd was outstanding. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on our Lewis Automotive Hotline. Looking through some of the texts here. Guyman doesn't mind the overrated chant. Yeah, I'm sure you were shouting other things in the mid-'90s of the student section that were even more interesting than overrated. I mean, that's the thing. Overrated isn't even an interesting chant. It might actually be, it's not a matter of not being true or being a lie, but there's no creativity attached with that. There's got to be something that's even more entertaining. So if you were in the student section in the 90s, I'm sure that there were many more entertaining insults that can be tossed out there that might actually be a little bit more believable than overrated and wouldn't denigrate your win at the same time. Jeff wants to know when the overseas players get to play. End of blowouts, if that, because part of this may also be they're just going to redshirt the guys from overseas. Right now, I mean, you haven't seen. I don't know if you've seen any of them. Truthfully, you got Retail, who's from Turkey, right? You got Jafik from Bosnia and Herzegovina. Retail's Lebanese, but he played in Turkey. There's Paulo Semedo, the 7'1" kid from Angola. I don't think you've seen any of those guys yet. So if you haven't seen them yet, you either see them in mop-up time or not at all, and they're just redshirting for the time being. And I guess that's all we got on the text line for the moment. guy says chanting overrated devalues a highly ranked team. It's stupid. Yeah, I mean, it is. But also at the same time, I can look at it from the other perspective. All that the fans are trying to do is just chant something towards the opponent, anything. I mean, you could chant the same thing. You chant overrated, you say your mother thinks you're ugly. I mean, it's kind of the same thing. So I don't know.
But overrated. Your mother thinks you're ugly. Yeah,
your mother thinks you're ugly.
I don't know that we're smart enough to do that one.
It's just a matter of pace and tempo. You can fit it in there if you cared enough. There are more entertaining, funnier chants than overrated. I'm just not exactly sure which one would fit. But you know what? We got an hour and a half until the Silverfield press conference starts. We'll figure one of those things out. So text them to us at 877-377-6963. Dudley Dawson will join us in a moment. We're going to talk about his very good friend Nate Allen and about the Razorbacks as well. So stay with us here on Halftime.
6-7.
This is Halftime.
At the Bet Saracen Sportsbook app, we realize lots of you have thought about opening an account, but you just haven't made that move yet. Well, now's the time with our new player offer. It's easy. You just sign up, use the code WELCOME, deposit at least $25, place a $25 bet, and that's it. Once that bet settles, you'll have $125 in free bets ready to go. Bet Saracen, the most popular sportsbook app in the state. Download it today on all your devices. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-494-6139. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-494-6139.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Hey, Razorback fans, basketball and movie season are here, and Sofa City has your home court advantage. Check out their immersive home entertainment furniture, zero-gravity power recliners with heat, massage, surround sound, and more. You won't just watch the game, you'll feel every buzzer beater and blockbuster. And Black Friday deals are going on right now. Get a $50 recliner when you buy the matching sofa and love seat for just $9.98. See more Black Friday deals at SofaCityUSA.com. Buy it today and enjoy it tonight at Sofa City.
I want to ride my bicycle.
Looking for a new ride or need a tune-up? Champion Cycling in Fort Smith has you covered. From top-of-the-line bikes like Specialized and Surly to expert repairs, apparel, and accessories, we've got everything you need to hit the trails. Stop by 5500 Mazard Road during business hours or shop anytime online at championcycling.com. Champion Cycling, helping you share in the joy of cycling.
Contractors, you've got jobs to win and customers to impress. That's why you choose Luxair HVAC systems, built for performance, efficiency, and reliability. And at J&B Supply, we've had your back since 1968. We're a local family-owned distributor that treats our customers like family too, with the products, expertise, and service you need to get the job done right. For over 50 years, HVAC and plumbing pros have trusted J&B Supply in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville. J&B Supply, where the professionals go.
This Christmas, make it easy for everyone to shop for you. At Wheeler Power Sports in Fort Smith, we've got everything riders love. Motorcycles, side-by-sides, ATVs, accessories, and apparel from all your favorite brands. Come in and let us make your Christmas wish list. We'll save all your info right here. Then your spouse, friends or family can stop by, check your list, and pick up the perfect gift. Make it easy, make it awesome, make it Wheeler Power Sports. Located on 901 North 11th Street in downtown Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back into halftime, live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Always appreciate time with Dudley Dawson joining us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline. Dudley, I know you probably got a heavy heart today. You okay?
Yeah. It's really tough with Nate. He was a very unique individual, one of the guys that I kind of learned about how to be a sports writer from as I was a youngster, and he's been in such pain here lately, and I'm glad he's in no more pain. But man, everybody's going to miss him.
Dudley, when's the last time you had a chance to visit with Nate?
Last week, I was bouncing some stuff off of him with text. We talked a lot via text, obviously, these last few months and really these last few years. And we were just going over some stuff about who the new coach might be and things like that and what they needed. And Nate was always not the biggest fan of the athletic directors after Coach Broyles, and so we were discussing that too. So, his mind was there. Even if his body was deteriorating, his mind was there, and always a thrill to talk to him. And I'm going to miss him. And with him and Bob Holt and Dave England and Mike Nell, it's been a tough last year or so.
Yeah, and the university did a nice thing for Bob, putting him in the notes for the Missouri game. Then the same thing for Mike. There's a nice sticker with his name and a microphone there where Chuck and I sit to do the basketball games, and hopefully something similar for Nate moving forward. You guys wrote a book together, right, on the national championship basketball team? What was it like to write a book with Nate Allen?
Fun and time consuming, I would say. He was a perfectionist, and if things weren't going the way he needed them to, he was loud. But he took most of it out on his computer, never out on people. Mostly out on his computer. He was drug into the computer age. More of a typewriter guy, but drug into the computer age, and they were always his arch nemesis. But it was a great compilation of us working together, and obviously it was great material. We went over every game of the national championship season, interviewed a lot of people, sold a lot of books. It was a lot of fun, and something I'll always treasure getting to be a part of it with him.
His battle with the laptops are legendary, and I wasn't ready for that at all. When I show up, and I didn't know Nate in 2014 and 2015, and the baseball games begin, and we're doing post game with Rick, and the doors close, and all of a sudden I hear somebody shouting somebody down in the background, and I thought there might have been a fight in the press box. Turned out it was Nate Allen versus his laptop. And it was just about the first of, 50 different times I heard it. But that was also part of the attraction.
I always enjoyed the looks from the other SEC beat writers, and before that, the Southwest Conference beat writers who were seeing him for the first time. And, if they knew you and didn't know him, they'd come over, do we need to help that guy? Whatever. I said, no, he'll be calm in a minute or so. And like I think a couple of guys have written, Nancy, his late wife, would call, and after cussing a blue streak at his computer, he'd answer the phone. Hello, how can I help you? Or just the nicest guy in the world with her. But he hated computers, but computers loved him because he put out a lot of great prose, a lot of great stories. What a great career we all got to be a part of and read as we were growing up, and as we've been growing up, I guess.
So last thing on Nate, and then we can move into the basketball game, son. Because I didn't know him very well, but just a little bit over the time that I've been covering Arkansas games. But what stood out for me about him was he could have just gone into retirement after multiple bouts with cancer, to the point where, I mean, he looked so much different because of the jaw and mouth surgery, and he couldn't speak, and I think a lot of people would just want to hide away at that point. But he was so dedicated to the job and the career, and I just think that must have been such an important part of his life that he couldn't imagine life without covering games. And he was still out there, still writing, and you might not be able to ask the questions himself, but that I was so touched by seeing you and Tom and Otis ask the questions for Nate. That always stood out for me.
Yeah, and he's a guy that was always about the work, and to my understanding, he turned in his last assignment at 1:30 a.m. Sunday night / Monday morning. So, my man went out getting his stuff done, and it says a lot about him that he always, he treasured newspapers. They've, of course, gone by the wayside a little bit, but he treasured the work, and he always gave the work the type of respect that it needed to. Maybe not the computers, but the work, for sure.
Dudley, let's talk a little hoop. What'd you think last night? I think it's a really good matchup anytime you get a Coach Calipari team, especially this Arkansas team, against teams that are guard-oriented. Trevin Brazile, man amongst boys. Darius Acuff Jr., bona fide superstar. Malik Thomas looks like he's just instant offense. I love Billy Richmond, what he's done in the offseason and how he's just the player he's become from last year. Give me a synopsis of the game last night.
They were so great on offense in the first half, and really defense as well. And just kind of blew Louisville's doors off. And obviously nobody had beaten Louisville before and hadn't treated them that way. But I tell you the thing that I think I was most impressed by, not that first half, but when it got within 5, they made plays down the stretch, and they didn't in the 2 games they had lost in Michigan State and in the neutral setting with Duke. And they made those plays down the stretch against a very, very good Louisville team, one that, in all honesty, has come a long way since Kenny Payne was its head coach, who's now on the Arkansas bench. And, Pat Kelsey has done a really good job recruiting. He's obviously very fiery, but I think that's what impressed me the most was the way they held them off, although there for a little while it looked like it was going to be an unbelievably disappointing loss when you get up nearly 20. But they made plays, and a lot of them, it was a lot of different guys, not just one guy in particular, and not necessarily just shots. There was a lot of key rebounds and a lot of key defensive plays. And I thought near the end they also made the extra pass, which sometimes I think we've talked about that before on here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they've been such great players in high school that they think they've got to take that shot. And when you make that extra pass, whether it was Coach Sutton or Coach Richardson or the other people that have had a chance to sit around and watch coach, the ability to have that extra pass and get that better shot is a big difference in winning games. And I thought it was really good down the stretch there. Maybe not early in the second half, but really good down the stretch.
Yeah, they were able to hold on. Okay, who worries you more? Because I know that everybody's not going to play a perfect game every time they go out, but I do believe Carter Knox and DJ Wagner are going to have to play better, be a little more consistent. And it's tough. I mean, you're figuring out new players. Are you worried at all about Wagner and Carter Knox? Do you think they'll figure it out?
Yeah, if you're going to be objective about things, you have to be. I mean, they both were great players for Arkansas going down the stretch. Their minutes, have changed up a little bit. But when you get the minutes, and I think this was something with Carter Knox last year, as he worked himself into more minutes, he became a better player, got more comfortable, as most young players do. But they're veterans on this team now. And, I think that you're going to have to get better effort from them. I think you will. But they're just kind of finding out where they fit into this dynamic right now with all these very, very good young guys and, a lot of the transfers that have gotten here as well. It's a good problem to have when 2 of your better players aren't playing and you're still winning. But I think if you want to get where you want to go, then both of those guys have to be major forces. They've got to be in your top 8 players and contributing to the potential that they have.
Hey, Dudley, Ewan, it felt like I don't know, a bell went off or something yesterday when he's not on. I mean, he's kind of invisible. But yesterday, offensive rebounding, had some nice moves, got to the foul line. That looked like, I don't know, say at his best, but that looked like the Malik Ewan you want, that you needed, you thought you were getting, and you're going to need it moving forward. And I guess it's kind of wondering, so what was going on in the previous month?
Yeah, his activity last night was really good, and I don't know if it's been a mental thing or a physical thing, but he, wasn't playing to the potential that he has. But his activity, if you're just moving, if you're not standing still waiting for something to happen, if you're going and trying to make something happen, he's a much better player. And I think he showed that last night. He's going to be an integral part there inside. If they get everybody going there inside, then I think they're going to be the team inside that we thought they were going to be. And I don't think that has been the case through those first, 8 games.
You think Trevion Brazile can be first team all defense SEC this year?
That's a good thought there. The blocks have been very impressive, but I think his getting in a better stance and keeping his guy in front of him for the most part has been a big difference than it was last year. And as a knee guy, as a guy who's had knee problems, I know what it takes to get back to where you want to get, and I do think he is finally fully healthy and not worried about that. I mean, he popped up last night from the turned ankle and got back after it, but I do think he's playing up to his ability now. And when he's scoring inside and outside, he is a guy that is going to make, if he continues this, he's going to make a lot of money playing professionally.
Dudley, moving over to football, Ryan Silverfield's press conference is about an hour and 17 minutes away. And that's the first time he'll answer questions that aren't on a radio show or on a podcast. And I guess there's a report coming out from 4-Star Sports Media that Tim Cramsey, his OC at Memphis for the previous 4 years, is expected to join him at Arkansas. So probably going to happen. I don't think that's any surprise. That a pretty high-powered offense under Tim Cramsey. And I guess the other aspect, wondering if – I don't know if he'll bring the defensive coordinator with him, but it seems the OC is coming.
Yeah, it does. And I think that's one of the biggest questions for the fans and the media, who's going to be the defensive coordinator. We all know what the problem was here this year. They're going to have to get some big guys out of the transfer portal to turn this thing around. They did an excellent job in getting this 2 big defensive tackles and Colton Yarbrough, the edge rusher from Durant, Oklahoma, in being able to, in the high school class. But the defensive coordinator is going to be a key. It was going to be, no matter who is the head coach, is going to be here. You cannot fumble this one, I guess.
What did you make of all of the in-state kids flipping to Silverfield? Because, that's something Matt's hit on quite a bit. What'd you make of that? Every one of them that he flipped had told either me or DJ Williams during our podcast and stuff how Arkansas was their dream school, and they just wanted to be loved and just wanted to be shown the proper amount of respect. As being a football player here in state, it appears to me in talking to them that Coach Silverfield had done that when he was at Memphis, and certainly did it on Sunday and Monday when he was reorganizing this thing. That's all that it takes. I'm not out here to cast aspersions and all that, but people were fleeing this state and going to programs that you compete against. Something had to be done, and there have been changes here, and it looks like, in talking to the high school coaches and talking to these players that I do, that he's been a guy that they've liked and respected before, and now he's the head coach at Arkansas and pulled off that stuff he did Monday. I think it's going to be a good thing for them going forward, because there's a really good 2027 class there too. One kid's already committed to Arkansas, one kid to Texas A&M. So you got to go and get the rest of them.
Is there a question that you're interested in hearing today, or if you had one question, what would you ask Coach today?
I think the university side of things has done a really good job at asking questions, but I do think that the one thing I really want to know about, and this is probably strange thing, I really want to know about the workings of the front office. I'm told that he is a guy who goes out and raises money himself, who does a really good job at building the program and doing that off the field as well as on the field, and obviously he had FedEx over there and all that. But I'm kind of looking forward to the inner workings of the general manager, the business of college football, not necessarily what I know he's going to do X and O's wise.
Well, Dudley, we'll probably hear your question live on the air here on ESPN Arkansas, because we're airing the whole thing in its entirety beginning at 1 o'clock. Always
Sounds
appreciate
good.
your time.
I'll try to make it a good one.
Yeah, appreciate your time, Dudley, and our condolences on the passing of your very good friend Nate Allen.
Appreciate it.
You got it. He's Dudley Dawson. He joins us each Thursday on Halftime. And we will come back in a moment. We'll open up the Lewis Automotive Group hotline for you at 877-377-6963, and remind you also about Valley Family Dental, still at the entrance to Riley Farm. They've been all these years, and still providing every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. Doctors Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice, specializing in general dentistry, braces, implants, cosmetics, same-day crowns available as well. Got a snore guard for you for $300 off if you tell them that you heard about Valley Family Dental on ESPN Radio. You'll find Valley Family Dental at 5901 Riley Farm Drive, Suite A, and at 226-3500, or online at valleyfamilydentalpractice.com. Back in a moment, we'll wrap up the first hour. This is Halftime.
Meaning that you don't know what's going to happen with the coaching situation, or you will not have seen the team play without the coach? Correct.
This is Halftime.
I want barbecue that's sliced thick, smoked long, and so tender it melts in your mouth. Sides that will fill me up like a twice-baked potato, baked beans, hand-cut fries, okra, Texas toast. You know what I'm talking about? A restaurant where the whole family can go and get a great meal for a great price. Where the owner actually comes to your table to make sure everything tastes great. I'll tell you what I want. I want Jerry Neal's.
Valley Family Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, same-day crowns, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Farmer, and now Dr. Blaine Van Nice work to give all of their patients a better life with a better smile. Valley Family Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A at the entrance to Riley Farms. Let them know you heard this on ESPN Radio and receive $300 off a snore guard. Valley Family Dental, 479-226-3500 for an appointment, or visit valleyfamilydentalpractice.com.
Dash through your holiday shopping at True Grit Running Company. From top running shoes and cozy winter gear to recovery sandals and smart accessories, we've got the perfect gifts for the runners and walkers in your life. Not sure what to get? Grab a True Grit gift card. It always fits and never goes out of style. Visit us on Rogers Avenue behind Chick-fil-A in Fort Smith and give the gift of comfort, performance, and grit. True Grit Running Company, where every gift goes the extra mile.
Equipment down? Got a leak? Lost pressure? Don't let hydraulic problems slow you down. At Central Hydraulics in Fort Smith, we've got the power to keep you moving. From hoses and fittings to full system repairs, our expert team delivers top quality service fast. Central Hydraulics specializes in hydraulic pumps, cylinders, and custom-built solutions, so you can get back to work. Heavy machinery, farming equipment, construction rigs, if it runs on hydraulics, we've got you covered. Visit Central Hydraulics today or call 479-646-0471 for fast, reliable service.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Lindbergh and the Lindbergh Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, or you can use Tara's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust the team that delivers results. Go to LindberghTeam.com, LIMBIRD.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. Ew, yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call, cleans it all.
You can't control your future, but you can control which Taco Bell Luxe Cravings Box you're going to get later. Iconic classics for $5, a plethora of indulgences for $7, or diving into the unknown for $9, where the new steak and poblano rolled quesadilla rolls real fire-roasted poblanos into a whole new thing. In any event, the future is literally in your hands. Now eat it before it gets cold. Choose your Luxe Cravings Box today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Need a new fence but not ready to pay all at once? The Fence Man, serving Fort Smith for over 40 years, offers 18-month financing so you can secure your home or office now and pay over time. Free quotes, custom designs, and the expertise to accomplish what most can't. Call 479-782-3936 or visit thefencemanAR.com. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Fly so swift, ring won't lift.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Wow, maybe Penn State will have a coach hired by Christmas, Matt, or maybe they're going to have to find one in their stocking. Turned down yesterday by Jeff Brom of Louisville, Brent Key as well. So that's
Is that Georgia Tech or Vanderbilt?
That's the Georgia Tech coach, Brent Key. And, of course, Brom's at Louisville. So I'm probably going to miss out on at least one or two of the coaches that they've struck out on. That would be Signetti, Drinkwitz. I don't think they were ever in on Kiffin. There's Matt Rule. Considering the way that Nebraska finished the season, I'm not sure if Rule would have been a great candidate for them to begin with. So now Brom, Key, there's Clark Lee. Anybody else that I might have, again, missed out on. So it's like, where do you look next if you're this program? And then James Franklin yesterday at the press conference announcing Virginia Tech's signees. I don't know if he did this on purpose or somebody at Virginia Tech did this on purpose because, they brought, I think, 4 or 5 recruits that he had gotten at Penn State, flipped them to Virginia Tech.
Well, the staff, too, he just said, he said to kind of a thing like, hey, if you guys want to come with me, come on. I don't know what your role will be, but you're more than welcome to come on and I'll take you. So, they left Penn State blindly just to follow Jimmy Franklin.
Well, they had a box of crumble cookies out for everybody there. Because one of the other coaches that they lost out on is Kalani Sitake, and apparently, and again, I don't know if how much of the guy's money is being thrown into this, but when the Crumble Cookie CEO said, I got to get involved in this because he's a BYU grad, Sitake then decides to stay. I don't know if the cookies had everything to do with it, but then there's a box of these crumble cookies at the Virginia Tech press conference yesterday.
Marketing, well-placed marketing right there, man. That paid for itself right there in advertising.
No kidding, man. Marketing and trolling all at the same time. In this society, in today's sarcastic society built on memes and trolling, you definitely troll and market at the same time.
Just give us more money, but don't chant overrated. Please give us more money to sit in the stadium, but then just sit down. Don't be chanting overrated. Get out of here.
877-377-6963 for the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Coming up in hour number 2 of halftime, it is Brett Dolan at 12:15, and anything else you want to hit on. Because once we hit 1 o'clock, it's Ryan Silverfield and probably Hunter Yurachek, although Hunter didn't introduce the coach yesterday. He just came through like he was one of the basketball players, come through where the gold standard is. You get the 2 big, fire shooters shooting up into the rafters, and there's Coach. No Hunter, but I'm sure AD's got to be at the press conference today, Matt.
Hey, I like it. Hunter's getting it done, right? You should stand up tall, man. You got the best baseball coach in the country, one of the best basketball coaches in the country, and maybe you catch lightning in a bottle with the football coach.
Stay with us for hour number 2. We are back right after this.
Winter has arrived, bringing frothy mornings, holiday travels, and unpredictable roads. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we've got you covered. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your vehicle for everything winter has in store. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Dad, the driver looks dirty. Ew, yucky, Daddy.
Hey, don't worry, boys. That's what we do best. At My Dreams Mo Wash, we make homes, businesses, and even big industrial spaces shine like new.
So you can clean houses and big buildings?
That's right. Residential, commercial, or industrial. No job's too big or too small. Call My Dreams Mo Wash today at 479-763-5561 or visit mjmowash.com.
My Junior's Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
You can't control your future, but you can control which Taco Bell Lux Cravings box you're gonna get later. Iconic classics for $5, a plethora of indulgences for $7, or diving into the unknown for $9, or the new steak and poblano rolled quesadilla rolls real fire-roasted poblanos into a whole new thing. In any event, the future is literally in your hands. Now eat it before it gets cold. Choose your Lux Cravings box today, only at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
The Crane Automotive Team has 16 locations across Arkansas and is home to the Crane Commitment. You'll find Ford, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Hyundai, Kia, Volkswagen, and access to thousands of pre-owned vehicles. Vehicles for every lifestyle and every budget. Even if you're not in the market for a vehicle, the Crane Team Service Centers offer the latest in vehicle diagnostic technology and certified technicians to take care of your vehicle and get you back on the road. Check them out at craneteam.com. The Ruskin and Zach studios are driven by the Crane Automotive Team.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, cloudy skies. There is a chance of a little light rain or freezing drizzle. Our high temperatures will be right around the mid to upper 30s. Later on tonight, a chance of some freezing rain and snow to the north. Could see rain and freezing rain to the south. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid to upper 20s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The worldwide leader in sports, ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Busch Light Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My hot dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
But they even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
Let's go.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Halftime continues, 12:01 in the afternoon. Got the Ryan Silverfield press conference coming up an hour from now. So this will probably be the last hour to get in, at least until you can react to the press conference. Lewis Automotive Group hotline open for you, 877-377-6963. Matt, being on the 13th floor of this hotel in Dallas has not led to any problems yet. Nothing's happened to our studios. The equipment's working all right. Cats and dogs are not falling from the sky, so far so good.
Who's the best number 13? Dan Marino. I think Delonte West might have wore 13 there for the Mavs. He was a baller. Who's the best number 13 in sports?
I'm just going to stop with Dan Marino.
That's it, right? We're there, and then there's nowhere else to go. Yeah.
Yeah, can't get much better than Dan Marino.
It seems like there might have been a baseball player that was Albert Bell. He was 8. Was that?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
We all know that's Troy Aikman's number, so I don't even know why I bring that up. But yeah.
Speaking of the number, we got a couple guys who decided to call our Lewis Automotive Group hotline phone number and get on the show. So we got Brett Dolan coming up next segment. So now's the time to get on, at least for the time being. And Charlie's up first. Hey, Charlie, what's going on?
What's up, fellas?
Hi.
Hey, Matt, I heard you talking about earlier. I think Phil was talking about, the whole overrated chant. Did you prefer as a player, for you personally, playing on the road and dealing with that kind of noise, or did you like?
There's nothing better than shutting a crowd up. If you're coming in as number 4 team and they whoop us, they get to shout whatever they want. That's their right for paying for tickets. But there's nothing better than going on the road and being able to hear yourself talk on defense and give out signals and communicate.
Yep.
That's just as good as it gets.
I agree. I'll never forget. We were. Let me say this real quick, because I know y'all got other callers and stuff. But at a road game, we were at somewhere in Little Rock, and these cheerleaders were heckling. Missed the free throw. I loved it. And of course I switched them both, and I just had to eyeball both of them. Now we were at home one time, and I'm getting cheered, and I airball one. So I'm like, don't. Maybe I just need to be booed all the time, and then I play better and focus better in every way. So yeah.
Would it help?
But anyway,
if you had a couple people call up and boo you during the phone calls? Would that?
Just don't hiss. There's no hissing. You can boo.
Yeah, I think it would, Phil. But hey, Malik Ewing last night, really proud of him. Coach Cal was talking about how he's kind of quiet. I guess that was the point of what he was making there at the end. He, like, when you talk to him, you don't say much. He was, and it was cool that he gave him that tape. I think that's a psychology thing with kids. And, this is how you played against Louisville last year. Watch this, then watch it again the next day and tell me what you think. And then he showed the team. And, look, the kid is, I think the difference between him and Pringle is, for whatever reason, I don't know. He's not a guy he's not as skilled as Ewing. So Ewing, obviously a little more finesse and all that. He's got some playmaking ability. The fact that he went in there and grabbed 7 offensive rebounds, big. Beating Louisville by 10 on the boards, big. And, holding them to 8 for 37 from 3, huge. Matt, I'm with you as far as DJ and Carter go. I think they need to get going, but it's not just scoring. Find another way to affect the game. And with DJ, we know he can facilitate. I remember Carter last year. There's one game in particular, and I don't remember who it was against. It was somebody in the SEC, and he was just going in there and finding a way to get offensive rebounds, get fouled. And I want to say the Hawks won that game, and he was one of the biggest differences in that game just by doing that. Don't worry about scoring as much. Just find a way, because there's only one ball. So go in there and do something else to get yourself going, and I think that'll help them. But a big win last night, and excited about this press conference. Y'all have a good one.
You got it, Charlie. Excited about the press conference. You ever been excited about a press conference, Matt?
No, but I was excited about Charlie's call right there. No booze necessary. Good call there, Tuna.
Absolutely. We got Brent and Cersei next. Good afternoon, Brent. How are you?
I'm great. Believe it or not, today I'm in the great city of Fort Smith.
Woo!
Ooh, you're on the other side of the state from usual spots.
Yes, sir, I am. I was just calling to tell you, today is a great day to be a Razorback fan.
Is it because of the press conference? Is it introducing
Razorback?
That's right. It's hard to be humble today, Brent.
It's because of the press conference today. I'm going to the meet and greet this afternoon, and it's because of that Razorback basketball team's victory last night. That was absolutely fantastic. Trevin Brazile was, golly, what we dreamed of 4 years ago when he signed with the Razorbacks.
How you going to lose games if Trevin Brazile plays like that, Brent? I mean, that's what you want, right?
Hey, Matt, I don't know the answer to
I
that.
I don't
question,
either.
because
I mean, that man. He was all over the place.
I don't think if he plays like that every game, the rest of the year, we won't lose many. I can promise you that. And Malik Ewing, off the charts great. And Thomas, he is just a volume shot maker, Matt. And Acuff, they're incredible.
Volume, that's right. Well, Acuff was a volume shooter yesterday, man. Did he have the ball in his hands or what?
I love Thomas being the sixth man. What, to your point, Brent, like you bring him off, he's instant. He's almost like a Khalif Battle, but better. You know, like it plays a little more under control.
Matt, you're at basketball. How would you compare him to Vinnie Johnson, the microwave, played for Detroit, coming off the bench?
Man, we got some years to go, but I like what you're talking about. You can project, and you say in 7 years could it be that good? But yes, I do kind of see some of that he's kind of that's kind of a projection for him.
What I mean by that is he comes off the bench looking to score. You
Ready.
know what I'm saying?
Ready.
He's already cocked and locked and ready to rock.
You know these guys. You know the freshmen Thomas and Acuff are combining for 44% of Arkansas's shot total. Just the field goal attempts, 44%. They've combined for 223 shots. 103 of them are 3-pointers. That's probably that's more than half the 3-pointers that the team has taken. So much of this is on Brazil, Matt, but I mean he's also, it's Thomas and Acuff. Those are the guys that should they be taking the most shots on the team on a continuous basis. But is 44% of the shots for the team between these two guys that a little too much?
Ooh, man, when you're winning, and it's such a catch-22 because you don't want to handcuff these players. You just want to teach them and have them learn and grow as basketball players. If you're winning, it's like, hey, it's be like running to pass the ball. Like if we're going to run the ball 78% of the time, but we're winning every game, is that too much? I don't know the answer to that. I just know that when you have two guys that shoot the ball all the time, everybody else doesn't get into a rhythm. So then it is on you guys. It's hard to get in a rhythm when you don't have the ball. If you're Carter Knox or DJ Wagner or anybody else, if the two guard, but if they're going to facilitate and try to get other people involved too, that's amazing. But they're both just bona fide scorers. I mean, that's what they are. And when we get to playing SEC and we get to playing some better teams that are a little more physical, they're going to take that away. I mean, there's going to be teams that are going to be able to take one of those guys away from time to time.
They're 44% of the shots. They're 39.5% of the scoring total for Arkansas. And then there's Brazil, Trevin is shooting 54% from the field. And that's even with taking 23s and the outside shooting. So, that's for his career, that's off the charts comparatively to Trevin's career. So
what did Coach Z say about Trevin when we had him on a couple weeks ago? He talked about the work he's put in the offseason, that a light kind of switched and how he was talking to him. And I think we can see that. I think you can see the work that he's put in, and as players you mature and you grow at different rates, and it's might have taken. And he had injuries. He had a couple setbacks here and here, different coaches, different team, everything going on. But man, did your breath go? Did you kind of hold your breath when he twisted his ankle for a second? You're like,
Absolutely.
Oh no, not him.
Because you can't replace him. I don't know if you can replace many of the guys. You can't replace an Acuff or a Thomas, but there's a certain aspect to Brazil's game. I mean, he's the pterodactyl. I mean,
we don't have anybody else.
Body
that's
type.
Right. That's right. And it's easier. Every single team has an Acuff. Every single team has a Wagner. Every team. Every team that you're going to have to beat to go to the Final Four. You're going to Michigan State, North Carolina, Duke. These teams, they all have uber talented players, but not a lot of them have a guy like a Brazil. When's the last guy? Think about the last time you can remember a stretch four like that playing at the University of Arkansas. Who else could you even think of that would be like that? I know, right?
Is it Portis? I mean,
they're different players. Portis is the back to the basket guy. He's a 15-foot jump shot guy. He's going to rebound and nasty. But they're totally different guys. They're totally different players. But yeah, they're you could say they're kind of built similar, but their games are different. That's what there's not a lot of Trevion Brazils out there.
Wood Motorsports Company, Wood Power Sports. If you're looking for a side-by-side, an ATV, a zero-turn mower, maybe a motorcycle, your local Wood Power Sports store's got what you're looking for in there. Close to where you're listening right now in Harrison, Springdale, and in Fayetteville. It's Wood Power Sports. All the brands you're thinking of, Can-Am, Yamaha, Hustler, just to name 3 of them. Plus, all their locations provide service and parts capabilities, deliveries as well. You can learn more at woodpowersports.com. Wood Power Sports is a solid name you can trust. Joined by, let's get a phone call from Clark in Springdale before we take the break and Brett Dolan comes up. Clark, thanks for calling. What's going on?
Yes, sir. How we doing today, guys?
Good. Thank you.
Good. Well, first thing was I was getting a little nervous. I was at the game last night. I guess just the traffic and everything. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a full house, but shortly after tip, it filled up pretty quickly. Which being to these first couple non-conference games at home, I wish we could get those games. I know it's a little harder to draw a crowd to a team that's not top 10 in the nation, but I wish we could just come together as fans and pack the house like that every single time because. Like Cal said, I think it did play an effect. And, man, Brazil this year I think really is going to be the X factor. He may play himself into a first-round pick again. I know he's projected there, a couple of years back and kind of been shaky a little bit on and off. If he can just get consistent, he can, like I said, be our X factor this year. And then we're going to win a lot of games if Acuff has 10 assists and is sharing the ball like that.
Clark, it's a good phone call. I appreciate you. And as far as the packing the arena and everything. And you want to see a sellout every single game, of course. And I think all the tickets basically are sold out. But it's all about the opponent. I mean, everybody, you love going to an Arkansas basketball game, but you also know that it has so much to do with who the opponent is, and it always will. What's your next game at Bud Walton? It's a Tuesday against Queens at 8:00. And it's just not going to look anything like you just saw. This was a Wednesday 6:00 tip. There are excuses built in to a Wednesday 6:00 tip to not have the crowd like it was yesterday. But none of those excuses seem to matter because it was Louisville. It's going to be a lot different against somebody like Queens. You get South Carolina on a Wednesday at 8:00. You get Vanderbilt on a Tuesday at 8:00. If you had Kentucky on a Tuesday at 6:00, that would look a little different too. But those SEC games will be packed. I'm sure it's going to be outstanding once you get into league play. Appreciate your phone call very much. Now we'll break, and Brett Dolan joins us on halftime right after this.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
There's what's the last point on this? Like either who can get up and get it for anywhere.
Yeah, it's great. First play of the game. I seen it early.
That foul is on Bebe Miller, and the Hogs run a lob on the other end. Acuff to Brazil, and there's the first dunk of the preseason.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Whether you're fishing for coldwater bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the Mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, hims.com/joy.
Winter has arrived, bringing frothy mornings, holiday travels, and unpredictable roads. That's why it's the perfect time to visit Southern Tire Mart. From top quality tires to expert service at competitive prices, we've got you covered. Visit our Fort Smith location at 9700 Highway 271 and let us prepare your vehicle for everything winter has in store. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season. I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text FORCE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text FORCE to 42424. That's FORCE to 42424. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
At Hardee's, every Tuesday is now Tender Bender Tuesday. Right now, download the Hardee's app and join My Rewards. Buy 3 hand-breaded chicken tenders, get 3 free. It's Tender Bender BOGO every Tuesday now through June 2026. This Tuesday, get 3 tenders free. Next Tuesday, get them free. The Tuesday after that, you guessed it, free. Buy 3 tenders, get 3 free. Another great benefit for My Rewards members. Only at Hardee's. Registration and app required. Available for limited time at participating restaurants. See app for terms.
The Hit That Line Now app is ready for you to download from the Apple and Google Play stores. Sponsored by Taco Bell. Live Moss.
Maybe somewhere near the back, where the bouncers.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Brett Dolan's here on our Lewis Automotive Group hotline an hour earlier than usual. Brett, got the football coach, the new football coach, talking to the media and therefore to the fans. Probably around 1:15 he'll still be going. I'd assume so. So you're all right being bumped for the new football coach?
No, I think we're all excited to hear what Coach Silverfield has to say. So I'll be there. So it's easy to jump on with you guys a little bit earlier.
Absolutely. Did you get your eyes on basketball last night? Seeing Trevor Brazile star the way that he did, and what'd you think watching?
No, I think TB for me was the takeaway. I know Ewan was extremely good. Acuff played well. I think for this team to be really good, I think Trevin has to be really good. He had an incredible first half, and Arkansas had an incredible first half, and then he went out for about a minute right before halftime. Probably wasn't quite as sharp in the first half of the second half when Louisville made a run. He found it again. Arkansas finished, and I think, to me, it just continues to reaffirm how important he's going to be for this team going forward.
What's your thoughts on Acuff, man? That dynamite freshman he doesn't look like a freshman already. Usually, Coach would always say, once we get to conference play, you got to quit play. You got to quit acting like a freshman and grow up. Acuff looks like he's starting his third year.
I think there's something to that. We sat down with these guys, Matt, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks before the first game. And once I got done with Acuff, I said to my crew, I felt like I was talking to a 28 or a 29-year-old. And just because, he goes away from home and you go to IMG and you have to kind of start your college career, in essence, a year or two early. The one thing that he also said to me that I see, and there's a toughness, and he goes, Detroit is who I am. It's what I am. It's where I came from. And I do think you see a little bit of that toughness and that seriousness that he brings on a regular basis.
When you talk to these kids, are you finding, I mean, you talk about like they come in a little bit older. Well, I guess maybe Acuff a little different than some others. But are you, because you got to have a business sense now if you're going to be a college athlete. Maybe you had to beforehand, but that might have been before you started taking business classes. Now, hey, I mean, you get guys that have their own logos coming in. But I would have a sense that, if you're a guy like an Acuff or Thomas, a high school basketball player is closer to professional basketball, I mean the really good ones, than a football player is to the NFL. And I just wonder, in your conversations with some of these guys, and it's not just Arkansas players, because around Touchdown Radio I think you're getting a sense of some of the other programs too. Do you have a sense that maybe the basketball players come in a little bit more mature just because they've had to have a business sense about them compared to football, or am I reading into this too much?
You might be onto something. I think this age in general is a little more ready to step on campus for all the circuits they've been on, whether it's AAU, whether it's summer baseball, whether it's some of the football events. You speak of business. I mean, I think Darius has his own shoe with Reebok, courtesy of Iverson. Now, he can't wear it because it's in a Nike school, at least in games. But, I mean, he had a business arrangement with AI when he was 17 years old or 18 years old. So I think that's the case. I also think these guys spend a lot of time away from home. We see it with these baseball players on these talented travel teams. Sometimes they're gone most of the summer at 16, 17 years old. They're kind of advancing earlier. Bonnie Dees is someone on our women's team that strikes me like that. She had to move away from home a couple of years ago in Australia and play with 30-years-olds on a pro team. I just think they're probably a little more kind of ready to be not awed by playing in front of 18,000 people at Bud Walton or 11,000 at Baum-Wofford.
Yeah. Hey, I want to switch over to football a little bit. We touched on the Penn State saga earlier in the first hour of the show. Are you nervous if you're Penn State right now? Or because obviously you want to get it right. It's not about being first. You just want to get the right guy in there. What do you think Penn State's thinking right now? If you're a fan of Penn State, would you be a little nervous right now?
Yes, I'd be really nervous. I mean, it doesn't matter, and I think Arkansas fans kind of went through this a little bit this last week. Even if you let your coach go early in the year, it's still going to come down to that last week, so to speak, that we just went through when there's a lot of movement and coaches get their picks or they get pushed in certain directions. But you get past that time frame, I'm really concerned. And I think the recruiting rankings had Penn State somewhere right in front of ULM and behind Yale in the 120s or 130s. Because they just don't have the volume of kids. And, I'm on this press release for every school in the world, it feels like. Tennessee had 30 players, A&M had 25 players. Well, where's Penn State's players? And that's part of why Lane could not coach at Ole Miss. It isn't just about, he left you and he's not with you anymore. The damn recruiting day was yesterday. The portal's coming open soon. You don't have a coordinator. You don't have coaches. You don't have even a clue what to tell kids that want to go to Penn State, regardless of the coach. So I'd be really concerned. And, if they put all their eggs in the Sataki basket and didn't have a backup plan, that was probably not a wise play at all.
Well, they've been told no by Brent Key and by Jeff Brom all yesterday, and I guess Sataki was the day before. What is it? You would think that's a place with a lot of resources, lots of money. Huge stadium, giant fan base, big state. You're the biggest program in the Northeast, but they can't fill the job, and that's been going on since the job even opened. I mean, the next thing you know, 2 weeks later, Kurt Cignetti's got a contract extension. They're getting trolled by the former coach. I thought this might have something to do with the specter of Paterno. And even the pins that the interim coach and some of the other coaches were wearing, to me, tells you about why it's so hard to fill that job.
I don't know, Phil, and I guess that's probably worth like a 30 for 30 in some regards. I feel like sometimes we're seeing this recently where coaches kind of gravitate regionally. You know, you're in the South and you go to the South. You're in Memphis, you come to Arkansas. You're in South Florida, you know, you can stay in the SEC. And I don't know if it's a lack of quality mid-major programs in the Northeast as kind of a feeder system. The fact that they were even considering Matt Rule, if they did, was laughable. I mean, who the hell would want Matt Rule as the coach if you feel like you have your pick? Well, now they can't find somebody. I don't know if Matt Campbell at Iowa State would be a name they'd throw out there. I just don't know. But clearly they're not getting their pick. And we've seen fans feel like they're frustrated when they aren't the top school getting their top pick. Well, Penn State would have to be pretty far down the list right now.
Well, what do you think of Silverfield? What do you hope to hear today? Just looking at his record at Memphis, steady offense, and great quarterback play. I think up until this year, for the most part. I mean, it's not like Lewis was terrible, but I don't think he was near as good as Hennigan, the guy they had for 4 years. What do you make of this?
I got to meet him briefly yesterday just by happenstance, and I asked him if he was speaking at Bud Walton during the game, and he said yes. And I encouraged him to be like Dwight Schrute at the Pennsylvania Paper Convention and swear a few times, but Kyle Parkinson shot that idea down right behind me. I think he's got a unique personality, Phil, that he's got the age and maybe the want to kind of excite some people, and I hope that comes across because, this is a boulder you've got to push uphill a little bit. And it takes somebody who's maybe wants to undertake that process. And I hope that comes across with him. You know, you go back and you look at his wins, and I did this when there was a little bit of pushback on him. I think it was Sunday. You know, he was running out 10-win seasons, and he was sitting at 8-1 this year, ready to get another 10-win season. That's an incredible 4-year run that's going to get you a major college football job. And obviously they lost 3 in a row, a good Navy team, a good Tulane team, and an 8-win Eastern Carolina team they lost to. Otherwise, they'd be at 9 or 10 wins again. So I think he's had a really nice run. He's had a very unique background between the NFL and even high school football. And, Phil, I will tell you a quick story. I know you're probably up against it, but from my school in my lifetime, I've had 2 coaching changes. One, I was 9 years old, and one, I was 28. I don't remember the first one. I remember the second one, and it was a similar situation because Bob Stoops was the guy, and he was supposed to get the job, and he was going to be the key hire. And they didn't hire Stoops. They hired Kirk Ferentz, who was an unknown line coach who didn't have a lot of head coaching experience, and he's been there 27 years, and he's won more games than any other Big Ten coach. So sometimes maybe that first thing, that first name that comes out doesn't work out. But that second one can. And if that's the case with Silverfield, I hope he has a nice run too. And I hope he brings that background of NFL and college and high school and his age and his experience and undertakes what is a pretty heavy lift here, at least in the first couple of years.
All right, championship Saturday, that Georgia-Alabama game, you're just salivating looking at that. Both teams are already in. Do you think they approach it a little different? Does it mean a little bit more? Does winner automatically get a bye? I actually think Alabama matches up pretty good with anybody in the country, especially Georgia. How do you see that one going?
You know, the want to is an interesting question, too, because you've got a couple of rematches, and Texas Tech just throttled BYU. And even if Texas Tech loses, they're still in. They won't get the bye. They'll get a home game. How badly do they want to lay it on the line and to get that bye? And I think there's a question, again, with Georgia. I have been on the Georgia bandwagon for probably 4 or 5 weeks. But what's interesting, Matt, is, of course, the one game they lost at home was to Alabama. And even though Alabama has had a few of their issues and a few of their warts where they're not maybe as absolutely as elite as an Ohio State or even a Texas Tech, they match up pretty well with Georgia. And I think this is by far the most intriguing matchup, even more so than 2 undefeated teams, just because Georgia has a chance again to win the SEC, and Alabama has a chance to kind of avoid what would be kind of a dicey Selection Sunday.
I got to ask you, too, the Big Ten championship, 2 versus 1. I might be the only one not giving Indiana a chance. Are you giving Indiana a chance to upset the Buckeyes?
I'm giving them a chance, and I go back, I guess, to what they did at Oregon, a pretty good Oregon team winning on the road. Obviously, Indianapolis will have some senses of a feel of a home game, but I still think Ohio State is better. I don't know if they're a completely different tier of better. I think really the entire 4 teams that are ranked top 4 are the 4 best teams in the country. I want to see what it looks like when they go head-to-head, how different the offense for Indiana looks against an incredible defense for Ohio State. Do they get completely shut down, or do they frustrate an Ohio State team that has kind of been in cruise control mode for the better part of the last month, with the exception of that Michigan game? What I want to find out, Matt, at the end of the game, are these still the best 4 teams in the country, or 2 of the best 4 being Indiana and Ohio State, or does Ohio State knock Indiana down to where we realize they're 6, 7, 8 best in the country and not top 2?
Well, we'll talk about the bracket when we get together again next Thursday. Okay, Brett? Hope you have a great weekend.
You know it. Absolutely. Take care, guys.
Brett Dolan's with us every Thursday on Halftime, and we got another 28 minutes till you're going to start hearing from Ryan Silverfield. Get on the horn. Calls and texts on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where they've been for 75 years and counting. Right where I-40 and I-49 come together in Alma. You'll get the best RV purchasing experience every time at Crabtree RV. Plus, personalized financing, top-of-the-line parts and service department right there on site. Also online at crabtreerv.com. Stay with us. Halftime is back after this.
That's an absolutely horse crap call.
This is Halftime.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. How do you know what actually works? With a 4.9-star rating from over 1.7 million client reviews, you're in good hands with BetterHelp. Talk with real qualified therapists, not AI. Wellness shouldn't be overwhelming, and therapists can help figure out what's best for you. And yeah, it might involve a screen detox. Visit BetterHelp.com/score for 10% off your first month. This is an ad by BetterHelp. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. How do you know what actually works? With a 4.9-star rating from over 1.7 million client reviews, you're in good hands with BetterHelp. Talk with real qualified therapists, not AI. Wellness shouldn't be overwhelming, and therapists can help figure out what's best for you. And yeah, it might involve a screen detox. Visit BetterHelp.com/score for 10% off your first month.
Kenai Walker jumped the route. Nobody's going to catch him. All the way. Touchdown, Arkansas.
This is Halftime.
Harry Robinson Salisol Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, and they'll give you more than any other dealer. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they'll still buy yours. Harry Robinson Salisol Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 off I-40 in Salisol.
It's the all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Golden Corral. Enjoy the endless breakfast buffet with carved ham, tender pork chops, pancakes, French toast, made-to-order eggs and omelets, and, of course, the biscuits and gravy. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. And from 8 to 9:30, seniors get all this and a drink for $10.29. Golden Corral, 1801 South Waldron, Fort Smith. Order online at goldencorral.com for curbside pickup or delivery. Golden Corral, the only one for everyone.
Have you had Cheerwine yet? The cherry flavor soda has had people coming back since 1917. This is RD with Platinum Distributing. We help bring Cheerwine to the River Valley for you to try. Nothing goes with food like Cheerwine. Burgers, barbecue, pizza, you name it. Okay, now we're hungry and thirsty. Cheerwine is a one-of-a-kind soft drink with a unique cherry taste that has been delighting Southerners for more than a century. Pick up Cheerwine at your local Jam Mart, Harps, and other fine establishments. Cheerwine, uniquely Southern since 1917.
Game day just got a whole lot better at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Wear your hog gear and enjoy half-price apps and cheap taps during every Arkansas game. Plus other drink specials that will keep the party going. Whether you're gearing up for kickoff or celebrating the win, Joe's is your go-to place for great food, cold drinks, and hog pride. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Half-price apps and cheap taps on game days during every Arkansas game. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps.
Selling your home doesn't have to be stressful, not when you work with Tara Limbird and the Limbird Real Estate Group. With over $1 billion in real estate sold, Tara's team knows how to make the process simple, successful, and even enjoyable. They can provide you with a cash offer in 72 hours, Or you can use Terra's high-octane marketing and sell your home for thousands over asking. When it's time to buy or sell, trust a team that delivers results. Go to limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
This is Daryl Johnston with Hashtag Managed IT Services. We are excited to now be part of AAA Business Systems. Hashtag will continue to handle every IT need your business will have, and now, as part of AAA Business Systems, we can handle all of your document printing and storage solutions. Together, we have the expertise to meet all of your office technology needs. Find us online at aaabm.com or call us at 471-1771.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Brian Silverfield introductory press conference coming up at the top of the hour. Matt, I was listening to Silverfield's Hog Pod with Bo Mattingly this morning on my early morning flight. And, he was addressing concerns about not having SEC experience and saying, well, I understood that there is NFL experience. And I don't know if you necessarily can compare the two, but NFL is the highest level of football. He's got 7 years experience in the NFL. 1 year as an offensive quality control analyst or coach. I don't know how you would explain it. 2008 Vikings, was a defensive line staff assistant for 2 years with the Vikings after that, then the assistant offensive line coach for 3 seasons, and his last job in the NFL was 2015 assistant OL coach with the Detroit Lions. And I don't think you've had an Arkansas head coach who had previous NFL experience since Bobby Petrino was head coach. And of course, his experience wasn't was more as a head coach than anything else there. So I just wonder what do you think that means for Silverfield to have this experience? And he would have been with some pretty good players with the Vikings, or from 2008 through 2013. Does, if somebody's worried you don't have experience in the SEC, can you point to the NFL and say, well, I got that instead?
Well, he's been around people that are really good at their craft. I like that. You know what greatness looks like. You know what people who want to be good look like, because you don't make it to the NFL not being good or not wanting to try. It's so that's amazing that he's done that. Same with the SEC. You're not an SEC scholarship player just by accident. You got to work at it. It happens that you put in time. So I like the fact that he's been around that. And then as some players, man, all they do is ask questions, especially at that age. It seems you're going to ask him a lot of questions, and you're going to take what he says because he's been there. He knows what's up. So I like it. I like the hire. I don't know if people get down because what was the talk? Oh, we're going to get Jimmy Franklin. Okay, we couldn't get him. Oh, we're going to get Alex Golesh. Okay, we didn't get him. So he's not our first choice. I don't know that. I don't know if you know that or not either, but I like the Silverfield hire.
What do you think it takes? What's the bigger adjustment into the SEC? Is it the speed of the game as a coach? Is it the coaches that you're also coaching against and how they scheme up, and how they're able to react to what you're trying to do, or is recruiting maybe sometimes the biggest change, trying to recruit in the SEC? Like, he's recruited this area before, though, maybe just at a different level.
Well, the difference between the SEC and the NFL is attention to detail, and players know how to study film. Yeah. It's not necessarily speed. You go take that Arkansas football roster when I was there, we'd beat any team in a track race. I mean, there was track athletes. So same thing with a lot of college teams. A lot of college teams have guys that run 4.3, 4.4 super fast. They don't know how to play football yet. And so that would be the biggest difference as far as from college to the NFL is kids know how to take care of their body. They start becoming a man. It's the business side of it. You understand how to study film, because even just listening to George Wilson nailed it right on the head. He was a 4.5, 4.6 guy, but he knew how to study film. He knew how to recognize tendencies. He knew how to be in the right spot. You know, that's what college kids are learning. It's not necessarily how fast guys are, but it's understanding where you're supposed to be.
Well, if you're going to be bringing on an offensive coordinator in Cramsey, who again, it's Four Star Sports Media that reported this, that Tim Cramsey, who is Silverfield's offensive coordinator for the previous 4 years, is expected to join him as the offensive coordinator at Arkansas, but he didn't have SEC experience. Does that worry you that he doesn't have that sort of experience? And I know another thing that Silverfield has said is it might have been about a defensive coordinator or at least assistant coaches that have experience with the league. So if you're not going to have an OC that has that experience, Matt, I think you're going to have a defensive coordinator that does. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know who's at the top of my mind. I'm not sure who it is that's available just yet, but you know, that would clue me in. He's going to see a defensive coordinator that might have a bit of a familiar name, because the OC does not.
That would be a question I'd want to know. Yeah, that'd be a question. Who's going to be the DC? Didn't he say he's bringing his strength coach on? You know, Gus Malzahn came from high school and went right into it. You know, you're either a ball coach or you're not, and I don't really get too caught up in, hey, have you been? Now you can say head coach, hey, you want somebody to go somewhere else and do things, but they like you. You're not an offensive or defensive coordinator, and you don't just love ball. You gotta love it. You gotta be around it. You gotta be a student of it, because you'll get found out. It's there's a lot of money involved in college sports, and if you're not good at your job, other teams are going to find you out really quick. So we'll get to find out together.
Well, I know, and you probably worked with a lot of people like this, is that sometimes you feel, well, there's an obsession with the job and the career. And it seems, just listening to Silverfield on the Hog Pod and a couple of other interviews, I think he sounds like that relentless kind of worker that's got to be reminded, hey, guess what, coach? It's 11:30 p.m. You might want to go home at some point.
Hey, I've been around a lot of coaches. They don't have any hobbies. They don't have any pastimes. They have their wife and kids and their ball club. That's they don't know anything else but their family at the house and football. And that's a lot of them. I mean, that's how a lot of now some kids, you could be Hugh Freeze. I say some men and you could just go live on the back nine at the country club, and then you see what happens to your football team. So and then some coaches, you don't want to get outworked. That's the one thing I feel like that he's bringing in that maybe Sam Pittman didn't have. It's like we got outworked a lot. We lost 5, 6, 7 games just because we got outworked and got outcoached. That can't be the case going forward.
Something tells me Silverfield's not going to be he's not going to have a steady Sunday golf game and then watching guys practice golf the next day.
He's not going to get done with the football game and go, you know what, guys, we just weren't in shape, man. We just weren't ready for this.
A little hot today, guys.
I can't believe, man, we just weren't ready. Like, get out of here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I saw also with Silverfield, he's got twin daughters. I think I heard 10 months old.
Ooh.
So brand new, man. I mean, then twins. Yeah. You know what it's like to be around twins.
I just saw my twin sisters the other day, and you can tell that Grace has a little, her child is she has 3 children, but one of them is like 8. Looks just like, no DNA test needed. I mean, when you see her at 8, just like her.
But the parents of the identical twins aren't confused by who's who, right?
Not 1 second ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you would be. It's funny because I don't know if he's that kind of guy, but I knew him. I had a baseball manager in the minor leagues who literally, he didn't just sleep in the clubhouse, Matt. He lived in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
He lived there because, and this was a crazy season. We had that year, 2000, Mudville 9 in Stockton, California. We had 3 managers, 2 hitting coaches, and 3 managers, 3 hitting coaches, and 2 different pitching coaches. We did have the same radio broadcaster and the same trainer, but the third manager, I mean, he wasn't even with the team at the start of the season. He was somewhere else, and he didn't want to go get a place to live, so he just figured there's a couch in the clubhouse. I'll live here. He didn't have to pay rent or anything. It's just the ballpark was built in 1927. I wouldn't want to live there, but then again, I mean, at least he's got a story to tell. Hey, I lived in a clubhouse before, not a football locker room. I think baseball clubhouses might be a little more comfortable.
Yeah, when you're in the dorm room up there on campus, you walk to practice. When I moved to Jacksonville, I had a townhome that was a mile and a half from the stadium. It's like I got it right there. Like that's because when you're there, you're at work at 6 o'clock in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. That's just what you do. And so I don't want to commute 45 minutes to when I got to go every single day for 12 hours a day at work.
I did like having that big backyard. Didn't ever have to mow the thing, Didn't have to clean the bathrooms or anything like that. Couch was comfortable enough. But you know what? I was 21 years old. I'll accept things at 21 that at 48 might not really go with any longer. All right, breaking in a moment. We've got the Ryan Silverfield introductory press conference coming up in 13 minutes. 877-377-6963 to get with us on a call or a text when we're back in a moment and wrap up hour number 2.
It's not like a must win, like, we're going to kill all the firstborns of every player if we lose, but, it's a game you really, really want to win.
This is halftime.
At Dobson Fiber, we're helping you build stronger connections by bringing the fastest internet network available to your business. Why fiber? Fiber internet provides reliable, symmetrical, blazing speeds. Without any interruptions or buffering, you can rely on Dobson for all your data needs. With Dobson Fiber as your premium internet provider, you can focus on the things that matter and the connections you build. To see if fiber is available to you, visit Dobson.net. Dobson Fiber, building stronger connections.
Ribs. I want the ribs.
People can get pretty particular about their ribs, and at Neumeyer's Rib Room, they can too. Do you want to join an awesome team and serve mouth-watering championship-level ribs where the best brews and tunes flow? Come to work at Neumeyer's Rib Room in historic downtown Fort Smith at 5th and Garrison. They're hiring new staff. Apply today and be a part of Fort Smith's most vibrant dining experience.
Now I'm here to eat ribs. Lots of ribs.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of stress-free internet. Wave Rural Connect brings you our 300 internet with Wi-Fi, perfect for streaming, remote work, and holiday guests. No data limits, built-in cybersecurity, and easy control with our free Wave Connect app. All for just $71.95 a month. Visit waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372 today. Wave Rural Connect, internet that works when you need it most.
I want to ride my... Looking for a new ride or need a tune-up? Champion Cycling in Fort Smith has you covered. From top-of-the-line bikes like Specialized and Surly to expert repairs, apparel, and accessories, we've got everything you need to hit the trails. Stop by 5500 Mazard Road during business hours or shop anytime online at championcycling.com. Champion Cycling, helping you share in the joy of cycling.
Are you ready to unleash the beast? Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
A SoFi personal loan is here to help you achieve something once thought impossible: overcoming high-interest credit card debt. Walk the tightrope of your finances with one low, fixed-rate monthly payment, no fees required, and as soon as the same-day funding. That's right. Pull off your own debt-defying stunt with a SoFi personal loan. Visit SoFi.com/trick to learn more. Loans originated by SoFi Bank, N.A., member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS 696891.
Doe's Eat Place has been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years, and now they're offering smoked prime rib on the weekends. It's a limited supply, so get your reservations in early. Try one of their delicious appetizers or your choice of drinks from the area's largest selection of wine, beer, and liquor. Doe's Eat Place open Tuesday through Thursday 5 to 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended. Follow them on Facebook for more upcoming features and events. Call 479-784-9111 for Doe's Eat Place, 422 North 3rd Street in Fort Smith.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging.
Is your business's IT infrastructure secure? At Dixie Digital, we provide comprehensive managed IT services to ensure your systems are running smoothly and your data is protected. Combine that with Xerox, Brother, and Epson reliable printers and copiers, and you've got everything you need for success. Call us today at 783-6600 to learn more about our IT services and special offers. Dixie Digital Imaging, your trusted partner for IT and document management.
Call or text the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963.
Okay, now I'm the only one.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. All guests join us on the Lewis Automotive Hotline, serving Northwest Arkansas for over 79 years. Home of the Lewis Guarantee. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
All right, it's about press conference time. What do you want to hear from Ryan Silverfield today? Chris in Springdale said he wanted the multi-million-dollar question. That's the thing everybody wants to know. Do they have the money to support him and be successful, or are you going to continue to be vague? And look, I'm sure the question gets asked, or maybe Hunter and the coach just sort of answer the question before it's even asked. But I would expect, you're going to hear the things you want to hear as far as that's concerned today. It's not like you're going to be given dollar figures or, here's what we have compared to the other schools in the league and LSU or whatever. But I can't imagine that you're not going to hear the answer that's at least in a definitive way that says yes, because they can't really answer that question any other way based upon what we heard, 11 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, the front office, I think that's what Dudley said as well. Does he say no, please give us more money, or does he say yes? I guess it's kind of how do you answer that question? But you want him to be authentic and you want him to be honest to a point. I think if you get up there and you're pandering or not being truthful, that's not a good look. But I don't think this coach struggles with that. I think he is who he is, and I think what you see is the real deal.
I think the truth also is that there's never enough money, no matter what. I mean, you get a $5 million check from Walmart itself, and that's not going to be enough. So you always have to be raising money, no matter what. But the only way that I could imagine that you can answer this is that if you're Ryan Silverfield, and he told Bo on the Hog Pod, there were other SEC jobs that came open that were interested in him, and if he's being forthright about that, if he's being honest about that. And this is the place that he has chosen to take his career next, then the financial situation has to be better than what it was. But what you're not going to hear and what you won't see are dollar figures that you can actually look at and as cold, hard facts, because so much of it is about comparatively what you have compared to the rest of the SEC. It's like if you look at Arkansas, and I don't think that Arkansas's situation financially is better than a lot of what's going on in the Big 12 or even a lot of the ACC schools or the bottom half of the Big 10. It's just comparing to the rest of the SEC, you have a large mountain to climb. So even if you add money onto what you have now, all the other schools may be doing the same thing. I mean, you got 6 jobs in this league that have come open and are either all have hired a new coach. So that also, to me, Matt, would go along with an added financial commitment, not just to the coach himself, but his staff and the players that are going to be joining him. So, and I don't think you ever get a true definitive answer about that, because the university is not going to publish those numbers, and the league isn't going to publish those numbers. And On3's valuation of NIL is just educated guesses.
I would also like to know how many kids from Memphis are going to come to Arkansas. That would be – I don't know when he's allowed to answer that question, Phil, but that would be – how many kids are you bringing with you?
I would imagine that's not even something you can answer right now. right? Because that portal doesn't open up for another month. So I don't know how you answer that, but that's certainly a top of mind thing. You got a lot of these things coming up in just a few minutes. If the press conference concludes between 1 and 2, we'll be back to react, take your calls, read your texts. Otherwise, Ruskin and Zach will have that job from 2 o'clock until, well, whenever you're finished reacting. Stay with ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. You're going to be introduced to Ryan Silverfield, the new Arkansas football coach, when we come back.
This is Rick Bennett, Director of Portsmouth Animal Haven. For all of our heating, air, and plumbing needs, we dial 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know, 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
If you're planning a holiday party, let River Point Wine and Spirits help. River Point Wine and Spirits has all your favorite party supplies. You'll love our clean, organized store full of all the best liquor, wine, and beer. At River Point, we're a family-owned business where customer service is always our priority. Your journey, our spirit. River Point Wine and Spirits, Grand Avenue and I-540.
Hey, Razorback fans, basketball and movie season are here, and Sofa City has your home court advantage. Check out their immersive home entertainment furniture, zero-gravity power recliners with heat, massage, surround sound, and more. You won't just watch the game, you'll feel every buzzer beater and blockbuster. And Black Friday deals are going on right now. Get a $50 recliner when you buy the matching sofa and love seat for just $9.98. See more Black Friday deals at SofaCityUSA.com. Buy it today and enjoy it tonight at Sofa City.
Game day just got a whole lot better at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Wear your hog gear and enjoy half-price apps and cheap taps during every Arkansas game. Plus other drink specials that will keep the party going. Whether you're gearing up for kickoff or celebrating the win, Joe's is your go-to place for great food, cold drinks, and hog pride. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Half-price apps and cheap taps on game days during every Arkansas game. Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Hart's.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, cloudy skies. There is a chance of a little light rain or freezing drizzle. Our high temperatures will be right around the mid to upper 30s. Later on tonight, a chance of some freezing rain and snow to the north. Could see rain and freezing rain to the south. Overnight lows will drop down into the mid to upper 20s. I'm Sally Russell with the forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith.
You know what's great about video? It does not lie.
ESPN 95.3.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that could respect you.
Live from the Busch Lights Studio.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you all for being here. And I think it's appropriate at an event like this that we take a moment to recognize a person that I know was a colleague and a friend to so many in this room, Nate Allen, who passed away earlier this week. This would have been a special event for Nate for sure, and his presence here today is truly missed. And I know that you all will join me in keeping Nate's family in our thoughts and prayers today and during the course of this week. As I talked to coaches around the nation about this opportunity, it reaffirmed what I believe about our program. We can build a championship football program here at the University of Arkansas. The top-down alignment of a new financial commitment from our Board of Trustees, the university, the Department of Athletics, and so many generous donors that have taken place over the past several weeks was the first step to us being all in on this goal. This financial commitment will push us to the top half in key SEC items such as our assistant coaches pool, our strength and conditioning staff, our support staff pool, and our talent acquisition through revenue sharing and legitimate NIL. With the financial picture coming together, the next step was finding a head coach that was all in. I know for many in the Razorback Nation, coaching searches can last what seems like a lifetime, especially one that starts mid-season. There's the passion of our fans, the speculation, the debate, the misinformation, and a lack of credible information because of the tight searches that I run. And that can make 60 days seem like an eternity for Razorback fans, I know. But for me, this was not a race, but it was important that I took the time to find a great coach and to identify a coach who truly wanted to be here, a coach who clearly understands this state and the importance of our football program to this state, and a coach who shares my expectations and the expectations that we all share for the Razorback football program to compete for and win championships. Ryan was the first coach I spoke to in October, and he was the last coach I spoke to in November. And from our first conversation through the last, he made it clear to me that he and his family wanted to be at the University of Arkansas, and they wanted to be a part of the winning history and tradition of Razorback football. He has a lifelong passion for football and for coaching. He began his coaching career at the age of 18 as a student assistant at Hampton-Sydney College, and over the course of the next 25 plus years, he worked his way from those D3 roots to be a high school head coach, a college assistant coach, an NFL assistant coach, an offensive coordinator and head coach at the University of Memphis, and now the head coach of our Arkansas Razorbacks. As I spoke to people I trust in coaching circles around the country, I could not get anyone to say anything negative about Ryan. Everyone raved about the type of person he was, his character, his work ethic, the culture he builds, the love he has for his players, and that he's a great football coach. He was 29-9 over his last three seasons at Memphis, including a 4-1 record versus Power 4 teams. His 50 wins over the past 6 seasons are among the nation's top 10s for a head coach at the same school during that same time period, and he never had a losing season as a head coach at the University of Memphis. As you get to know Ryan, you'll see the traits that I had a chance to see in him during the search process. He is a great and genuine person. He has an incredible work ethic. He is a builder of relationships, as he quickly demonstrated in the last 72 hours as a recruiter, and he can build a winning football culture and a championship program here at the University of Arkansas. And I know that him and his family are excited to join our Razorback family and that they are indeed all in. Ryan?
Thanks, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Razorback Nation. Thank you all for being here. It's an absolute incredible honor to be sitting here in front of you today as a head football coach at the University of Arkansas. Those words carry weight. This program was built on toughness, pride that stretches from the hills of Fayetteville to Moore Memorial Stadium and Little Rock. That is what drew me here. Before I go any further, I want to thank Chancellor Robinson, Hunter Yurchek, the Board of Trustees, and all of those in the search committee and everyone else who believed in me to be the head football coach at the University of Arkansas. I want to thank my wife, Katie. Those two beautiful girls sitting right there, Adeline and Cecilia. Anybody that knows a coach's wife understands the long nights, the countless questions, the uncertainties, the love, the patience, and Katie has existed every single one of those. Her love and passion for me and for the game of football stands tall. She's given me the greatest gift that any father could ever ask for, and 2 girls. And the love for those 2, when I look at them, it's what I'm all about, family and football. Ally and Cecilia will make you guys very, very proud. And man, y'all look good in those outfits. That is who I am, family and football. I told the team when I met with them this Sunday that we will have to earn everything we get. Every win, every championship, every ounce of respect, we will have to earn it. Nothing is going to be given to us here, and that is how we earn it. So how do we earn it? How do we win an SEC championship or championships? How do we win a national title? We have to earn it. We have to empty the tank. We have to attack the work. We will respond to everything with toughness. We will never back down. We will guard our integrity, and we will do it together. If you listen carefully, that spells out earn it. That is our standard that we are setting today. We are all in, and we will earn it every day. Because this is Arkansas, this is a state not built on shortcuts or flash. It is built on early mornings, people that don't make excuses, and communities that fight for each other. From Frank Burrell's national championship team to the 1964 squad that set the standard. From Darren McFadden electrifying fans to Woo Pig Sooie throughout the Ozarks. This program is built on pride, resilience, and toughness. And it's time to bring it all back. Here's my promise. We will be relentless. We will play tough and smart. We will do things the right way, and we will earn it. To our fans from Fayetteville, to Fort Smith, to Little Rock, to Texarkana, Fort Smith, Pine Bluff, and all the towns in between, we need you with us. We need you to be all in. We want you to look at this team and say, they fight like Arkansas. Being all in together, we will rebuild it, we will earn it, and we will make this state proud. Thank you for being here today, and Woo Pig Sooie. Now, well, I think I got one more thing. Quincy? Quincy, you're all in for your senior year? Yeah. Let's go. KJ, you got something for us? Oh, I'm all in. Yes, sir. Let's go. Some good news to get this day going along with the press conference. So
You hadn't shared that with me. That's big news.
that's big news. Yeah, I was good. Keeping it on the edge. Let's go.
Ray, I think you got to ask for the top, man. Well, I think speak for everybody, say welcome, coach. I'm curious, Hunter, you said this is the first name that you talked to. I was wondering how that first contact went with both of you guys, and then just kind of the conversations that went on throughout that. And I'm sure you interviewed several candidates also along the way.
Yeah. I mean, the long runway of almost 60 days allowed me to talk to informally to about 25 to 30 coaches during the course of that time, narrow that field down to 8 or 9 that we had some very formal interviews with, and narrow that down to 3 that we had some intensive in-home visits with, and then narrowed that 3 down to 2 that we really zeroed in on that we thought both would be great coaches. The first conversation for Ryan and I was by way of Zoom, and we connected with our small college roots, him having been at Hampton Sydney, at me at Guilford College. They compete against each other in the ODAC, and that was a common bond for him and I right out of the gate. But I could tell Trey that him and I would work well together, and I think that's really important for an AD and a head football coach, because you got to get in that bunker together, and you got to build this program together, and that's the only way that truly works.
Your impressions of the first contact and the conversations that followed.
Well, listen, I've understood how much this football program, this university mean to this state. And I knew that from my, 10 years. And then having the opportunity, there were people that called and programs that called in universities, but when the University of Arkansas called, I got excited. because I understand the passion, like I talked about, all the things that make this place so special. And so the opportunity to visit with Hunter and really just to get to know each other on the surface and to talk about things, talk about his beliefs, his core values, what he wanted for this program, it aligned directly with me. And as Hunter just mentioned, that is so important, right? Because I was so fortunate to be at a place that I found special in Memphis for 10 years. But to me, to take that next step, it was important that I aligned with the athletic director, that we shared some common things, some beliefs that stand on the right type of merits of what we want this thing to look like. And so initially just very pleased. And I said, this is an opportunity that if it so happens to go, I'm all for it.
You've had a lot on your plate, obviously, with the recruiting and talking to all these players individually and stuff. I don't even know if you've finished that yet, but you've also got to hire a staff. And I'm sure you've talked to guys and you probably bringing some people from Memphis. I was wondering where you are with that process, when you would like to have the staff complete.
Yeah, Trey, it's the wrinkles on my eyes are probably from lack of sleep between Hunter and I. We were joking around last night that I don't know if either of the rest are getting much these days, but that's a great thing because we're pouring into things that are important to us and that matter. And obviously hit the ground running. Like I mentioned, the basketball game last night, from the moment I stepped foot, getting the recruits, the right ones, right? Some of these great ones in state to stay at home. And that was important to me. And I know it's important to our great fans. But then, yeah, part of it has been putting that staff together. And so in between phone calls, in between meeting with the players, I've met with every scholarship football player so far and had one-on-one conversations face to face, because that's important to me, is understanding who we are and what we're about and what else we need to do and what my job as a head coach is to improve this place for these guys, especially those that are coming back and mean so much to this program. And then the staff is coming together nicely. Obviously, a lot can't be shared publicly until they're sitting here in their offices, but I can tell you this, fans and media like you're going to be blown away by the staff. It's going to be a bunch of high character coaches. Coaches are going to love the players. They're going to pour into them. They're going to love this community. They're excited to be here, that want to rebuild this thing the right way and know how special Arkansas is going to be. So we're going to bring in a bunch of guys and a bunch of people that are going to make everyone really, really proud.
Hunter, you've mentioned expanded financial commitment. Details, though. Can you give details as to what that looks like?
Matt, I think it's our competitive advantage not to give details of what that is, other than to tell you that it is a significant investment in all aspects of our football program that will move us to the top half of spending in all those categories I mentioned in the Southeastern Conference. And I don't believe we need to be at the top of spending. We need to be somewhere where we're really competitive. And Ryan and I are on the same page with where we are. It allows him to go out and hire the assistant coaches that he believes he needs to hire to build a championship program and to invest in our revenue sharing and legitimate NIL to make sure that we acquire the best talent for our roster.
And Ryan, for you, how important was it for you to hear those words as you went through the interview process?
Well, one of the things that, and Hunter had these discussions early on is, listen, give us a chance, give us a fighting chance. And I promise you, we're going to win a lot of football games and do it the right way. And I think I appreciated that, because it's, like you said, we don't have to be at the top. You give us a fighting chance, we are. But this day and age, we also understand how important it is, right? Doing things the right way, being able to build the right staff, being able to provide for our players in this new age of college football. I always look at those. A lot of head coaches look at other things as challenges. I look at them as opportunities for us moving forward. But we know, and that's part of it. And part of my job as a head football coach is to assist Hunter and the rest of the athletic department to see what else we can go and do and out there. And I'll just say this, over the last 48 hours, there's been a lot of excitement about what's going on. And that's going to allow us to continue to build this program from every infrastructure, with whether it's resources, whether it's just the excitement, the belief, season tickets. We're going to keep pushing that right direction.
And Hunter, for you, in the middle of looking for a coach, you took on the chairmanship of the playoff committee. Logistically, how did that affect the search? And then did you have to did your higher ups need some assurance that you were going to be able to balance those correctly?
I mean, the benefit of being the chair and just on the CFP selection committee is I'm required to watch a significant amount of football during the course of the week. And so I was able to watch football, evaluate coaches, evaluate how their teams played, because I was required in my commitment to the CFP to do that. So it allowed me the opportunity to really see how coaches perform, their demeanor on the sidelines, how hard their teams play on both sides of the ball. And so, I was able to do both of those because I have an incredible staff, our senior administration, our support staff, all of our head coaches. I mean, they just do an incredible job, and they allow you to step away from the day-to-day responsibilities of an athletic director and know that everything's going to get done because just the people behind you that work so incredibly hard to make sure that this runs when I have to step away and do, whether it's the CFP duties or I'm away on the head coaching search trail.
Yeah. Hunter, on the new and significant financial resources.
Yes.
I'm wondering, the fans want to know how much is on hand, how much is committed, how much is still to go? Where do you stand?
We're not to the finish line, but I will tell you from a fundraising standpoint, we're off to a great start. What the athletic department is going to commit is significant, and that's how we're going to kind of reallocate some of the dollars that we have. The university, through a direction of the board, is going to make a commitment to our football program as well, and all of that's significant. I don't want to tie a specific dollar amount to any of that because I don't want to limit what we can do. And also I want to make sure that we have a competitive advantage. I think once you put your financials out there and tell other schools what you're doing, then it allows them the opportunity to come meet you where you are or exceed where you're at.
A lot of head coaches came here before you that did not win. Why is it that you can come in and build a winning program here?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, first and foremost, it's always going to start with the players. And, we got gentlemen here today that are going to be committed to doing it the right way, that believe. And that was so fortunate for me, like just immediately understanding what we have on this roster and going out and finding. I think you guys got to see the work that could be done in 24 hours. Give me 24 days. Give me 240 days. Give me 24 years. All right. And you're going to see a winning program. And I think that can happen immediately. It's not one of these things where we're sitting here saying, hey, Hunter, I need 3 years to rebuild this. No, that we can start rebuilding the culture the moment we step down. The moment I had the opportunity to sit face to face with these guys and talk to them and see what they're all about and tell them what I'm all about and how we're going to do this thing together. And I firmly believe it starts with the players in the locker room. That everybody always says, Ryan, tell me about your culture. What's it like? What's it mean to be all in? And I always say, go see the players in the locker room. Go see those players that have been over to my house, the people that my wife has got to know and to pour into as well. And that's what it's all about. And the staff we're going to be able to put together. There are so many things about the state of Arkansas, so many things about this university, and so many things about this football program that are going to set us up for success. Right? There's a proof behind this program, the way we're going to work. We're going to outwork everybody in this country. Okay. And our players are going to believe in that. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to build an excellent culture, a sustainable one, year in, year out. And we're going to make our fans very, very proud.
You got a firsthand look at Arkansas football this year.
Yes, sir.
And that was basically the story of the season. Did not close the game out. How do you get from that point to winning a ton of games?
Yeah, I think part of that is, right, just finding ways. And, listen, at Memphis this past year, we found ways to finish some games and we found some ways not to. And that's the nature of college football. The margin for error continues to shrink, right? And just, brief synopsis of what I saw from Arkansas is, we have to find ways to be more disciplined. Right, whether that's penalties, all those things. I think just the leadership, right? And a lot of the players have come off and say, Coach, I think we want to step the leadership. Okay, well, good. That has to start right now, right? We can't wait till we get back on January 14th. That has to start right now. And guys buying into the way we're going to do things. I think the way you condition in the offseason, the way you condition during the season, what does that look like? A great understanding of situational football. Now, ultimately, we look at, I don't get much into statistics, but you want to talk about ball security and turnover margin. I think that's been an issue. In Memphis, we were, over the last 10 years, we're one of the best teams in the country at turnover margin, significantly more so the last 5 years. And that's important. That's how you win those games. And then finally getting guys to believe, guys that are going to be resilient, guys are going to finish and fight every single play. And if you do that, you give yourself a chance.
Hey, Ryan, Jackson Fuller, Southwest Times Record. What will you be valuing most in assembling your staff? Is it SEC experience, your own personal relationships? Or how are you going about that in terms of what you're valuing?
Yeah, Jackson, listen, I always have valued experience. And I think that's important, but most importantly, great coaches and great leaders of men. And you can say, well, that sounds like coach speak. That's not. Because I believe that how you do anything is how you do everything. And we're going to find coaches that are going to truly pour into these guys. And they may think it's corny, but I'm going to tell them, like, these coaches are going to love them. They're going to hold them accountable, okay, to everything these guys say they want to do. And they're going to make sure they achieve exactly what we say we're putting out there. And we talk about standards and all those things, but coaches are going to set the standard and push the players to meet that standard. And look, there's coaches that are coming aboard that have SEC experience. All right, there we hear before you know it, and we'll be able to talk about it and write about them probably the next time we all get together. There's some coaches that have some NFL experience. There's some coaches of various backgrounds, coaches I've worked for before, coaches that are going to make sure the lights stay on in this building, whatever the hell it takes. So all sorts. But yeah, I can't wait for you guys to meet those people that are going to be with us, and it's going to be very, very exciting times.
Hunter, another financials question. I know you won't give us the details, but when what can you point to fans and say, right here is evidence that we have stepped up our financial game in the SEC?
It will come when he announces some of the people on his staff. That will be the first piece. And then when you see how our roster comes together after the transfer portal officially opens in January, you see we've got a couple of young men in here that are coming back. That's a part of the financial commitment that we've made into our football program to be able to retain those high caliber, very talented young men that we want to be a part of our program and the leaders of our program. And so I think when you look at what the staff looks like, the support staff as well, and then the players that become a part of this program, that will show you the financial commitment we've made to our football program.
Hunter, sorry, another financial question.
Go ahead. Sure.
If I understood you earlier, you
Yeah.
said there were going to be some reallocation of funding within the department. Where is it going to be reallocated from? Is it other sports, or kind of how is that going? Or is there another revenue source coming in? Or
Yes, and yes. I mean, just different, a couple of different revenue sources that we're looking through, both through our foundation and through the athletic department, and then just how we reallocate money that we're currently spending within our department, whether that's from a salary standpoint, an operational standpoint. But we feel like we can do some things differently to be more efficient, that we can reallocate more dollars to our football program.
and then also looking over the term sheet for Coach Silverfield, I noticed that the buyout it's not the tiered one that you had for Coach Pittman based on winning percentage. I'm curious what the reasoning was behind that.
It's Coach Pittman didn't have the same agent to start out with that Ryan does now. And so not many agents will advise their coaches to accept that buyout the way we had it set up. It was much more favorable to the institution. I think this is kind of a middle ground, that it's favorable to the coach and favorable to the institution.
And then, Coach, for you, I noticed that Scott Gasper is going to be a guy that's going to be following you over. I'm curious, kind of what role did he have with you at Memphis, and kind of how do you envision his role helping you here at Arkansas?
Yeah, so I'm not sure what exactly is I'm allowed to talk about, because some things are certain and but there will be people joining us from Memphis. Some will have different titles, some will have different roles. But there's so many great people there. Like, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it weren't for that great staff at the University of Memphis and all those people, right? I think about 27 years of coaching, all the people that allowed me to get here today. But listen, as things come out, as people are able to get their contracts under, and we'll be able to discuss them at plenty. And I'll be thrilled to make time to kind of discuss the wonderful people that are going to be joining us here in Fayetteville.
Ryan, Christina Long from WholeHogSports.com. Heard one of your roles at Memphis when you were an assistant coach was some involvement in fundraising. Is that something that you kind of talked to Hunter about in the interview process, and something you plan on using here?
Yeah, listen, first off, we know as a head coach, you have to wear every hat, right? Whether that's picking up trash, whether that's being a CEO and fundraising, whether that's getting my hands in the dirt and teaching a lineman, make sure they're stepping the right direction. But that was part of something that I took pride in. I understand the way college football is going, right? Towards the NFL model, all these things, but you still always have to fundraise. I don't care if you're a head high school coach in Savannah, Georgia, or the head coach of Arkansas. That's part of what is needed. And until they say, hey, we're just going to play for free, I don't know if, and we're not playing with monopoly money, there's always going to be the need for fundraising. And so I told them, and I've told his staff already, it's my job to help assist that. And, we can do that first and foremost by winning football games, but I'm happy to go knock on doors, to go meet some of these people. And I think part of that is just building the relationship, right? I can't wait for so many of our great fans, so many of our great donors, so many people that have already stepped up and said, hey, I want to help out. But just building those relationships and let them understand what I'm all about, what our young men are all about, who they truly are. And that's what's been so special to me. Like, you sit there and you have a narrative of coaches, of what you think they are and who they're about. You have a narrative of what you think of a program and the players. And then I have the opportunity to sit down with them face to face and get to know them and get, to tell that story. And that helps the fundraising as well. And I can't wait to develop so many of those relationships. But yes, long-winded answer, that was part of what I did at Memphis, and we're going to go to it full force here.
Hunter, you'll never guess what this is about, but are there plans to implement a student athletic fee as part of this new financial commitment?
There is not. That is not something that at least has been discussed from an athletic department standpoint. If that's something that the board and or the university decides that they feel is the right direction to head, that would be their call, not the athletic department call. But from an athletic department standpoint, we have not discussed that.
And then to you, just what would a successful first year of the Silverfield era look like?
It's already off to a great start. When you talk about the recruiting class, the kids that he flipped in the first 24 to 48 hours, the young men that he's convinced that this is the right program to be a part of, and just putting this team together, putting this staff together, and really giving our fan base some hope for the future of our football program and what that can look like will be a successful first year. And let me touch on his fundraising prowess. He doesn't even know this yet. So he was in the courtside club last night, and he was doing what he does in building relationship with donors right off the bat. He walked away from one donor. The donor came up to me and committed to a 7-figure gift to our football program, just with a brief 5-minute encounter. He didn't even know he'd done that.
Like I gotta go meet some more people. I'll see you.
I think you see kind of the personality he has, and he can quickly build relationships and sell his vision to our fan base.
Yeah, Hunter, just following up on that example, how did the financial backing come together over the past few months with board, donors, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the board's had some significant discussions internally as a board, so I can't speak to those discussions. I was not a part of that. I provided some financial data to them. They asked the university to make a commitment. They asked the athletic department to reallocate dollars to make a more significant commitment. And then Ryan White, the executive director of the foundation, and his team and myself, we've been working for the last 30 to 45 days on that fundraising trail.
What was the process like? How long was it to kind of do that review of the department's finances and allocating the money?
It's been very quick because when you're out looking in a football coaching search, I mean, football coaches want to know what their assistant coaches pool is going to be. They want to know what their support staff pool is going to be. They want to understand the revenue sharing and the NIL opportunities before they're going to dive headfirst into a job. And so we had to put all that together and make a commitment to that pretty quickly.
Ryan, big Arkansas senior class, and also just the day and age of the transfer portal. How many spots are you expecting to be filled by your Memphis players?
I can't even comment on that. But listen, we dealt with 78 new players this past year at the University of Memphis, and we know there's going to be turnover. That's, like you said, that's what college football is all about nowadays. But I can't comment on what that will look like. But we're going to look all over and find the best fit for us. Right. And no different than recruiting. It's not about just taking the 4-star. It's about finding the best fit for our locker room and the culture that we're creating.
Coach Hunter mentioned Nate Allen a while ago, and it's odd as this is, the last conversation I had with him Sunday, the last thing he said to me is, will you ask Coach if he plans to have anyone on his staff from Arkansas? He said, I'm too sick to go. And that was Sunday. That's the last thing he said to me. Can you address that? I mean, I feel neglectful if I didn't ask you.
No, listen, and I have much respect for you asking that question on its behalf. As we assemble the staff, listen, people that understand this great state, that's important to me. Okay. And not only, I think about this, I think about my nights in the Bass Pro Shop pyramid overlooking, and I'd always point out to the recruits and say, see that bridge right there? That goes to the great state of Arkansas. And we've had a lot of players I've been able to coach, and I've recruited this wonderful state for so long and had relationships. In fact, I think I was looking at it, even when I was talking to Hunter, I think a third of the guys on the roster already at the University of Arkansas, at some point I'd had a conversation with over the last 4 or 5 years. Quincy, I was his first offer out of high school, and he won't admit how small he was when I first offered him. And that relationship, I just think look, man, it comes full circle. And there's some of these guys. I was sitting down with some of these players that I was sharing with Hunter that a couple of them, they're like, well, you beat me at this previous school, then you beat me this past year. I'm staying part of this team because I don't want to have to go against you again. But we will look for people in the staff that make sense. I assume that there are going to be some people with some good ties to this great state and this wonderful university. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Coach Ryan, Evan Camico, Pig Trail Nation. Curious for you, you were involved in the Memphis community. What excites you about getting involved in the Arkansas community here in Northwest Arkansas? As last night, yelling in fans' faces as well. What just excites you about the future here?
Yeah, I mean, if you can't go and see what those the students absolutely amazing. Like they kept me from doing it. I was good. I was going to put on one of those, overalls with the stripes on it. And, but they didn't know. I mean, I thought it was going to be pretty cool, but I withheld myself, but when those students got me fired up. And that's that passion of the fan base. I mean, just seeing it, from the moment I touched down, the first thing we went and we watched and I got to talk to Coach Cal and how much he loves this place. And I got to hear about those things. And then you think about the Children's Hospital of Northwest Arkansas. Like, to me, we're going to give back to this community. My wife and I are going to do everything we can to make this place as great of a place as we can. And how can we give back? Like, what are some community things that we can do? We were 5th in the country at Memphis last year in community service hours. And to me, that's as important as anything we do, because I think if we can get back to the community, right, it means so much. And a lot of those people are going to be, in the stands and being season ticket holders. So whatever we can do, I'm all part of it. And, I know there's a veteran affairs, there's a VA hospital here. Like, that was something I was huge with in Memphis, giving tickets to the vets. As soon as it slows down, if it ever does, maybe February, I'm going to get out and want to visit with the VA and see how we can help them. There's so many great organizations and so many great people in this community. My family and I are going to do everything we possibly can to give back.
Last one for me. You had those two guys over there just come in here and say they're all in for you. What excited you about getting those guys back for 2026?
Well, listen, it starts with the type of, and I'm not trying to repeat myself. It starts with the type of young men there. Because I had an understanding of who they were, and anybody can watch film and know that they're super talented, and know that there's also, like I told them, I said, guys, we haven't scratched the surface, and they know both that. Like, that's why I said I'm going to push them, I'm going to challenge them. And when they sit there and say, "You're right, absolutely," and you sit down with a kid and you tell them you're going to push them and hold them accountable, and they start sweating and batting eye. I'm like, cool, get out of my office. Good luck to you. But those two, it's the mindset, the integrity. The approach. They want to be leaders. They want to see this team succeed, right? I told them, like, there's no more of this loser mentality, and they've bought into it. And in a quick term, and they're going to be the ones that infect the rest of the locker room in a positive manner and say, hey, this is what it is. This is what it looks like to be all in. This is what our culture is about. This is what Arkansas football needs to look like. So guess what? Just like what everybody said, wow, great first week. We're not even, I think I've been here for like 10 months, but I think I've been, a couple of days. Like, wait till the week keeps going on. Wait till the weekend. We're not sleeping. Okay. We're going to build this thing the right way. And again, it starts with the great players that are already on this roster.
Yeah. Anthony Christensen. Okay. Anthony Christensen, HawkSports.com. Ryan, I just got to see a little bit of it when Arkansas played at Memphis earlier this year, but I guess just what are the main, aspects of an identity you want for your first year, with the roster, with the coaching staff, et cetera?
Yeah. I'm not going to give you a coach speak answer. Okay. Just no different when people say, give us, here's the deal. You're going to have a bunch of guys that love football, a bunch of guys that are going to be tough, a bunch of guys that are going to be resilient, a bunch of guys that are going to love each other, a bunch of guys that are going to work really hard to make this state proud. And that shows up in between the white lines. Right. I truly believe, there's a direct correlation to how we do things off the field, the culture that we're going to build. It shows up on game day. And when people watch this, they're going to say, man, that team plays with relentless effort. That team cares about one another. And they're going to be disciplined. They're going to be detailed. And they're going to fight their asses every single day to give everything they have.
Brian, congratulations. Welcome. I heard a cut of yours in a recent interview about this is not a 3-year turnaround. This is something that we're going to turn around in a hurry. What's your message to the fan base for how and why that will happen?
Well, it is. This is a different day and age. Things do take time, right? The culture to build, you have to build that every single day. And that's what it's going to start with. And you're going to have to put the pieces together. And when I say it's going to happen, people say, well, project the number of wins. I can't do that. I can tell you this, we're going to be the best in the country at what we can control. And that's right. The attitude, the effort, the approach every single day, those things we're going to be the absolute best in the country. But that's something we got to work to build. And there's going to be some people that are currently on the roster that are going to be back that we're going to have to make sure, hey, it may take a little bit more pressing. But these freshmen we're going to bring in, these young guys, we're going to have to develop them, right? We're going to recruit the heck out of high school football players and develop them. We're going to be the best in the country at developing. But what that looks like, similar to what Hunter said, is we're already starting to see a movement in how these guys are believing and what they want and a positive mindset. I already told them, we're changing out light bulbs the other night. I said, I want brighter light bulbs down here. And someone looked at me like, what? I said, yeah, not next month. I said, no, tonight, if I got to go to Walmart myself and start changing them out, I will. But that's part of it. I want these guys to say, man, this is different. This is going to feel different. And we're going to go earn everything we do. But, she knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah, when I FaceTime her and at 12:30, she says, "Where are you at?" Still at the office. I'm up on a ladder changing some bulbs. No, it's just part of it. And I think it's a one step at a time deal. We're going to take this one day at a time. But if you do it the right way, it's going to show up in results on Saturdays.
Hunter, just one quick one on the logistics. When we talked to you, when the change was made, you were one of the first ones in this cycle to make the coaching change. A lot more follow. Did maybe the number of openings complicate the search at all?
Not really, Daniel. I mean, I think we're all kind of swimming in the same pond with the same coaching candidates when it all came to, when you saw how it all kind of fell out and fell into place. Many of the people that were in the final 8 or 9 that I talked to are now head coaches at other institutions. And so you do have to wait till some dominoes fall for sure. But I don't know that it overcomplicated things because there's always a lot of openings. This was an inordinate amount of openings, but it didn't necessarily overcomplicate it. It gave me an opportunity again during those 60 days to talk to the right number of coaches, determine who was truly interested, who was truly a good fit, who was not interested, who was trying to get a raise at their current institution, things of that nature, and then really narrow that field down to a group of quality coaches.
Hi, Ryan. Overall, just what excites you the most about getting the opportunity to coach in the SEC, and how do you get Arkansas back to that standard of winning in the SEC?
Yeah, Tyler, great question. I think it starts with, we understand that this is the best conference in college football. Okay. And the excitement of not just coaching the SEC, but coaching at the University of Arkansas, a place that I believe is going to set the standard in this conference. Okay. And that may take a little bit of time, but we are going to be the standard of what an SEC football program will look like. And how do we get it there? Similar to what I said earlier, it's every single day, giving everything we have and pouring into this program. As Hunter alluded to earlier, that the resources that we've been given and we're going to continue to fight for are going to be a huge part of stepping that right direction. And then ultimately the players getting the buy-in, the work, right? I mean, they won't allow me. I made the joke when I was flying over the stadium landing here. I was like, man, it'd be great if we go ahead and start spring practice, or maybe we can steal a couple of bowl practices or do something like that. I'll be itching and scratching to get on the field, get those guys in the weight room, start meeting with them, implementing our scheme, and teaching them what it's all about.
This defense last year was kind of in the bottom of the barrel for a handful of aspects in the conference. I guess getting a guy like Quincy back is a great start, but how do you plan to reshape the identity of this defense?
For sure. Listen, I've met with a lot of the current players and see where they fit and what our future looks like. It's always going to start with the current roster. Okay. And then, what does that look like? Are there some young guys I think that may have not gotten playing time that, you know what, they just need to get, and they need the opportunity to continue to develop and maybe understand what the coaching needs to look like in order to get them to be able to step on the field. So there's going to be some guys like, oh, I forgot he was on our roster. I'm glad to see he's making splashes, and hopefully we get to see that in spring and then through OTAs and through fall camp and then on Saturdays. And then also, right, the portal is that you have to look and see if it makes sense to add those type of guys. But we got to explore, right? Offense, defense, and special teams, and find the right type of people that will allow us to win games.
Coach Silverfield, give you some synergy. Coach Broyles had twin daughters. His tenet for winning was some of the things you've already mentioned, turnover margin. How do you impact turnover margin, and what specifically in practice takes place to make that happen?
Yeah, well, Coach Broyles is obviously a legend, and someone had told me that, and so I appreciate that good synergy. They had twin girls, so I always say this. Someone said when you had the girls, is it going to take away? Is it going to be a distraction? No, it's made me a better coach. And anyways, you can see my passion for my family and how much they mean to me. But with the turnover margin, it is truly, people talk about the keys to victory, and a lot of these coaches go into analytics and statistical stuff. That's great, and that's what you do, right? You always got to have one more point than the opponent. So there's going to be some games. Maybe we win a game 3-0. Maybe it's 48-59. I don't know what the heck it's going to look like. But with turnover margin, you have to preach. You have to talk about it all the time. All right, we're going to use the terms OTB and TTB. All right, OTB is going to stand for own the ball. Okay, KJ and I were just talking about that this morning, and we kind of were joking around about something that's some of the stuff we did at Memphis. But when we talk about owning the football, it starts with everyday drills. Okay, so every coach in the country talks about take care of the ball, but you can notice, like, how does a team truly preach it with what ball security looks like? But you have to practice, you have to talk about it, and anytime that it shows up, I don't care if it's a Tuesday practice on August 6th, if that ball security looks inadequate, you have to approach it, and you have to approach it right then. And the players have to understand there's a standard to ball security. The quarterback has to make great decisions. That starts with the snap. That also starts with the communication in the return game. We've seen year in, year after, especially this year in college football, there are more mistakes made in the return game by poor communication. That's part of the education of what the rules are and what that should look like, and the ability to make that communication. And then we talk about taking the football away. All right, that's the TTB, take the ball. And you got to preach it, right? Every day in practice, taking the punches. We talk about the old peanut punch from Peanut Tillman, right? The guy that I saw get some punches on Adrian Peterson back in the day when I was with the Vikings. Hey, you got to talk about when the ball's in the air, going and attacking it. And so that's the stuff that has to show up. We do a takeaway circuit and a turnover circuit every day in practice. That stuff, but guess what? You have to implement in your program immediately. It can't just say, oh, okay, before the game, guys, make sure we take care of the football and go get some takeaways. It's got to be embedded in our program. That's got to be part of our DNA. And that's how you win some of those games we talked about earlier, some of those close games. That's how you find a way to win those.
Coach, you talked about wanting to build something sustainable, but we are in the age of the transfer portal and guys getting poached left and right. How realistic is it to build any consistency, not just in roster, but in play for any program in today's college football?
That's a great question. Well, if you look over the last 10 years, I think the University of Memphis football program has probably been one of the most consistent programs in the entire country. And I take pride in that. And, that was part of the conversations with Hunters. Maybe this past year at Memphis, we didn't go undefeated, right? But if you look at the track record of what we've been able to build, the sustainability, 51 straight games of 20 points or more, that's pretty darn consistent, right? The longest streak in the country by far and away. That's called consistency. You took a quarterback that we started at 17 years old that started 4 straight years in college football. Right. Then all of a sudden we brought in a guy that had won, I think, 3 or 4 games in a 3-year period. He wins his first 6 games at the University of Memphis. Right. You talk about what it is. It's talk about keeping guys that want to be a part of something, that want to continue to build it the right way. That's the sustainability, and be able to keep coaches that are so proud to live in Fayetteville, this great community, and be a part of this thing. And it's got to be by me understanding as a head coach, right? When we have a good season next year, well, the next year has to be even better. And it's my job to continue to challenge myself and improve every single year. How do we continue to make this thing better? I'm going to challenge the administration. I'm going to challenge every single person. We're going to continue to push the envelope in the right direction. And ultimately, we're going to be judged by wins and losses. But you can do it. And I think you can have sustained success year after year after year in college football. And I think those that don't are afraid to keep up with it, be able to fight every single day. But we come out swinging. I can promise you that.
Hi, Coach. Robin Hearn from 5 News back here. Sorry, we're all the way back here. Just want to talk to you a little bit about what were those conversations like with the guys that you were able to flip within like the first 24 hours, specifically the in-state guys?
Yeah, Robin, if I'm trying to slow down my talking, but I've got that Southern stuff. And so I start so I probably talked for about 20 hours straight to these guys, just text message talking and just, talking all about it. But I think part of it, some of these guys I'd built relationships over time, over the years, just getting to know them, and then just selling them for the vision of what we're going to do and what we're all about. It started because they have a bunch of in-state pride. And that was one of the reasons that drew me to this job anyways. Like the guys that sit there and say, I want to be part of this program because this is home for me. And whether home's in Little Rock, this is still home for them. And so a lot of the guys are, man, I want to be a part of this. And then understanding what the passion is and what it's like and building something special, right? And like we talked about, it's not we're not going to be good 3 years from now. We're going to help be a part of this thing to get this thing flipped. And a lot of people have sensed that. And I think you got to see what it was like. And I look forward to actually, taking a deep breath, figure out what this thing is. But probably by February, we're going to start putting in the best recruiting class in program history for the 2027 class. And gosh darn, if I get a full 5 months to do so, that's going to be a heck of a deal.
Also, since coming from Memphis, have you been able to try any barbecue here?
No, I have not. Most of it's been eating peanuts and stuff I can find. There's not a whole lot of opportunity to explore. Someone said, how's Fayetteville? I said, it looks really beautiful at 12:30 at night and at 4 a.m. But other than that, I don't know. I had to open my window today just to see, wait, there is sunlight out here. Because a lot of it's been just a lot of meetings, phone calls, and conversations, which it's been a blessing because it's been so many great people. Last night getting on the golf cart to the basketball game, I was like, okay, good. I get to see a little bit more of campus and see some of this stuff. But no, I look forward, and if people ever know, and my wife will contest to this, like unfortunately, my weight gain is going to increase pretty steadily over the next 4 months. And I hope it's with a ton of Arkansas barbecue. You got any suggestions? Perfect. I think I know what I'm having for dinner.
Yeah, it's more Texas style than Memphis style. Andrew just pointed out to me also that Houston Nutt had twin daughters. So maybe part of the requirement here.
It was. I don't know if the checkbox stuff.
You've outlined a lot of things I think that are important qualities in a coach to be successful. But this might be a better question for Katie also, but a lot of coaches that are great have something that's kind of weird about them, have some kind of idiosyncrasy or something, I was wondering what's weird about you.
How long do you have? I think the press conference, I mean, listen, to be a head football coach in college football, you've got to be wired a little bit differently. You have to be, when I got into this thing as a coach, like, oh, you're going to pay me $5,000 a year? Absolutely. Let me do it. Like, you've got to be a little bit crazy to think like, I'll do whatever it takes to make this thing work. And the hours you put in, the sacrifice you put in. And you got to understand, I think what's happened, and she'll tell you, like, sometimes it's okay, Ryan. You don't have to be so truthful to everybody. And anybody that's got a wife, like, sometimes you can be too honest. And she sometimes says, it's okay to, yeah, ours blunt. She tells me I'm very blunt. Yeah, I've got plenty of things. I'm sure over time you guys are going to see, like, oh, that's unique. Probably ask Bray Cook, who spent a bunch of time with me over the years. There's plenty of unique things about me, but that's makes me who I am. What you see is what you get. I think the players all saw it. Like, a couple of them were going over like KJ's house and like, man, that dude is yeah, he's real. And I like that word because that means there's not a lot of fakeness, right? I'm genuine. I'm going to tell you what I think. And if I'm wearing socks from 20 years ago from Walmart, like, so be it, with my new suit. It's part of who I am. And I think it's going to resonate because people are going to see the real me every single day. And I think the players are going to love it. I think people are going to understand, man, cool, he's one of us.
I always felt like with the transfer portal and NIL and stuff, it's beneficial for Arkansas if things can be embraced from a financial side of things, because the state in the area doesn't produce just a whole lot, produce some good players, but per capita, it doesn't. But I'm curious, and you could have a lot of turnover this year, obviously, with players hitting the transfer portal, and you experienced a lot of that last year at Memphis. But moving forward, what do you think is a good balance for Arkansas in terms of recruiting and adding players from the transfer portal each year?
Yeah, Trey, it's interesting. I think every year is going to have its differences. This would be probably the least amount of high school guys we ever signed. I didn't want to sign guys that I didn't actually have an understanding of who they were, right? Obviously, there was a handful of guys who were committed already, and we honor those. But then most of them, I at least had an opportunity to get to know. And anybody I'm going to bring in our locker room, right, I'm bringing a part of our family, right? They're going to come over to the house. They're going to be joining the vets. I think that's as important. So we're going to do a great job recruiting. If I were to throw out a random number, anywhere from 20 to 30 high school kids every single year, and be able to develop them. And then, what is it? Like, if we only need to fill 10 spots in the portal, and some of those may be a third string guy that I got to bring in the portal, right? Everybody always assumes you bring a guy in the portal, is he a starter? Well, if a redshirt freshman goes in the portal, he's not ready to play, but maybe in a year from now he can fit your scheme, then so be it. But it's finding that right balance. But we are always going to rely heavy on high school recruiting, and our job as coaches is to develop those guys.
A lot of times when there's a new coach, there's some quarterback turnover. KJ obviously said he's coming back. I'm just curious, can you outline maybe like how big of a priority that was for you? And just what is it about him that made you come here and say, I want this guy to stay, instead of maybe going out and bringing your own guy in?
Well, I'd been able to watch, obviously, studied some Arkansas film prior to playing them, and I knew his background. And then really over the last course of a few days, just being able to, more than anything, right? Like I'd mentioned earlier, the film study speaks for itself, and he's got a unique skill set. He's very talented. Even as of this morning, we were actually watching film together, right? Going through some things and talking about it, like, hey, I know why this throw went to this way. And I certainly don't specialize myself as a quarterback guru. The last time I was a quarterback coach was 2005. But just talking through things with protections and just getting his, the understanding of the way he processes, right? The care, and you hear other teammates talk about what a leader he is and how much it means. And so that stuff is huge. And the success of a team. Ultimately, quarterbacks get too much credit, quarterbacks get too much blame. But I think KJ's got a bright future.
Coach, you asked about your defense earlier. I'm curious about the offense. Kind of what do you envision X's and O's wise? Kind of what do you want on that side of the ball?
Yeah, listen, it's going to be similar to the same offense I've run the last 10 years. Like I said, again, credit to the players. We had wonderful players, but it's been really one of the most consistent, successful offense year in and year out. And part of that is turnover margin. Part of that is just having great players making plays. And that to me is huge, right? But when it's all said and done, we're not a tempo type team. Okay, we're not an air raid type team. Everybody's got a unique name for something, right? It's pro style. Do you have to huddle? Well, if we're not always going to be looking to the sideline for signals. 90% shotgun. Okay, we're going to not as much pistol as had been done here in the past, which was something I was even studying as of this morning, and just variations, right? But my job is to put the players in the best opportunity to succeed. So if it's out there being in more 11 personnel, if it's, if all of a sudden we got certain deals and if we're short yards goal line, are we more of a 13 personnel? Is that 22? But it's my job and our job as coaches to develop the scheme based off of our players. I think you get so many coaches will sit there, well, he didn't fit my system. No, you're a bad coach. You need to change and adapt to what the players you have. So even as far as skill sets of a quarterback, what the receiver size is, speed on the field, what's your running back situation, your line situation, how much outside zone compared to inside zone. If you got a bunch of 355-pound O linemen, then how much duo are you running? So look, all that goes hand in hand. That's my job to figure that out. I'm excited to play the first game, but I think I got a little bit of time before I got to determine exactly what plays are going in.
And then going back to the high school recruiting, you announced 17 signees yesterday. You've got today and tomorrow in the early period and then the February period. Are you looking at adding any more high school guys, or does it shift to more portal?
Well, I think we got to see I think sometimes there's been some guys that hadn't signed yet. And if they fit with what we want to do, we're going to always do that. I think if we can add anybody that's going to add value to the locker room first and foremost, and then value to us on the field, we're going to explore it. And so to sit here and as we continue to look at the roster numbers, but as always with everything, expect the unexpected.
Yeah, Hunter, you mentioned at the start that when you run a tight search, it can create a lot of speculation. There's a notion out there that maybe this was a disorganized search. How would you characterize how it went?
From my perspective, it was very organized. It went from roughly 25 to 30 coaches down to 9, down to 3, down to 2, down to 1. I know because Kyle would come in and say, this name was floated out there yesterday. This name was floated out there. I will tell you that my staff didn't know who I had hired until Saturday night after the game when we got together. And that was the same way the entire search. And so I just feel like out of respect to the coaches, especially running a search during a season where coaches are coaching other teams, and I have the ultimate respect for what those young men in those other locker rooms are going through when their coaches interviewing for jobs. And the calendar we have right now in college football makes it incredibly, incredibly difficult to have the level of respect that I want to respect. And that's why I run a tight search. It's really out of respect for those coaches that I'm talking to because I don't want rumors to be floated out there. I'm not trying to get somebody else a raise. I'm not trying to hurt them and their program. I'm trying to acquire the best coach for the University of Arkansas. And so, again, no one knew on my athletic department staff until Saturday night after the Missouri game who we were hiring.
Saturday night. I noticed on the term sheet you both signed it Saturday night. What was the timeline like Saturday when it was offered, agreed upon? How did that go?
Yeah, Ryan and I had been communicating last week. He had a game against Navy, and I wished him good luck. It didn't turn out the way he wanted it to. We communicated some on Friday. He wished me good luck heading into the Saturday game. We visited some during the game on Saturday. I stepped out of my box and at halftime and went and called him. And then we officially got everything wrapped up late Saturday night.
Thank you very much. Appreciate all y'all coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Record.
All right, what'd you think? That was Ryan Silverfield with Hunter Yurchek
press conference for Arkansas. We're going to have Ruskin and Zach on in just a bit, giving you some reaction following the head coach's press conference here at Arkansas. Going to have some clips for you as well. If you missed any of it, it will be up again momentarily here at hitthatline.com and our Hit That Line Now app, powered by Taco Bell. So money seemed to be one of the main things taken away from this conversation. I know Hunter got asked repeatedly about several different money questions. Some he elaborated on, others that he was not dodging per se, but they're still in the midst. They're still in this process. One of the things that at least stood out to me was the 7-figure donation that a booster gave to the football program. Just on a brief conversation with Ryan Silverfield last night. Long way to go for this football team and program to get where all of us want to be. But that is, again, your head football coach, Ryan Silverfield. We'll have some stuff, if you missed it, on Ruskin and Zach coming up. Appreciate everyone joining us here on Halftime on Thursday. For Matt Jones and Phil Elson, I'm Tyler Richardson. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday afternoon. And as Phil says, get up, get out, and get better. Halftime back tomorrow, 11 a.m.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One is a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
Game days just got a whole lot cheesier at Art's Barbecue and Burgers on Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Art's legendary smoked brisket queso is back. There's no better